We OG, we OG. Oh no, G. You're not bullish enough. Yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Yeah. Experts on reload. Yeah, yeah. You're not bullish enough. Yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock. Ayy. Runes is coming. Everybody on a knot. Ayy. It's a nuisance. Ordinal Revolution. Ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, it's my guy for real, bro. Got friends right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit on fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, like it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nookies on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me. Bitcoin's alive, what you gon' do? Mempool fees are high. Ordinal. Where does it stop? Nobody knows. It's a revolution. Ayy, Bitcoin is the one, no substitution. Ayy, with Shizzy and Yagobi, it's Ordinal Revolution.
Welcome back to Ordinal Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin Ordinal ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We are live on the Ordinal Hour, and this one's going to be a fun one, guys. We got Jake Gallen joining us at 12 o'clock today. No Arch Thursday today. That'll be next week, but today we have Jake Gallen joining us from Emblem Vault. He's going to be showing us how to vault our co-vault and do some really cool stuff with it. So look out for that. That'll be at 12 p.m. Eastern time, an hour from right now. But today's show, we have an amazing show for you guys. We're in a weird time. After Christmas, before the first, right? These couple days, it's a lot of people are still on vacation. Not a lot of things are going on. But we did see last cycle in 2020 that this was a pumping period. We did go sideways a little bit, but it was like the beginning of the pump. That led into January, and then we saw all coins go nuts. So Bitcoin dominance is definitely something that we're watching right now. We needed to get into the lower 50s for we think that an altcoin blast, and that affects our runes, that affects the BRC 20s and many things like there. But we're hearing from Mario Naval that everything's dead over here. Runes are dead, ordinals are dead. So we're gonna get into that as well if we think that. But we got a great show. Looking forward to today, and let's get this started. Bring my partner here, as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's going on? What's going on?
What's up, man? How was your holiday? How was your Christmas? How you feeling today?
Holiday was good. Just get some good time to relax and spend time with the family. And obviously we're always paying attention to what's going on in space, the price action with Bitcoin, which was a bit weird. Like they tried to give us a little Christmas present, teased us to 100, almost 100K, and said, nope, we're coming back down $3,000. So that was interesting.
Could you explain, like, for someone who wasn't paying attention, could you explain like what happened? Because I saw it at like 93, but I was busy that whole day. Do you think what happened? We got the 93 to the 99 and then came back down?
Yeah, like 99.7, I think 99.600 something. Yeah, yesterday, and then there's people when that happens, you get the big accounts. Like I think was it Jason Williams? Is he one of the big accounts? Yeah,
going parabolic.
So, people like that saying, "Oh, $100,000." We're right back at it. Huge screen. God candle incoming. You had Fred Krueger saying, should we do a $100,000 space again and stuff like that? And so, but like, I feel like every time that happens when they post about it, it like literally does the opposite. So it's like, stop posting that. But anyhow, yeah. So that's what happened yesterday.
And I'm sure there was a bunch of sell orders there at 99,000 to kind of
Oh yeah.
take all the momentum away. Do you see like that was a good thing? Do you see us going up there and kind of attacking those sell orders right now, and maybe maybe going sideways here for a little bit and then taking it back early next year?
I mean, so I think early next year we end up taking it back anyways. Maybe
Yeah,
towards the end of this year. Who knows? We still got 5 days left in
yeah,
2024. But I think it would have been more effective if we hung around that time or that price zone for a little bit longer to try to eat at the the limit orders there. But
yeah.
we didn't hang out there for very long. We kind of
Gotcha,
did for a little bit and then came back down.
gotcha. All right, let's get on with today's show here. The U.S. Congress is expected to prioritize crypto legislation in 2025, focusing on key issues like stablecoins and the Fit 21 Act. At first, I was like, "All right, cool," but I don't want this Congress to do anything but go away until I think it's what the second week of January is when the Congress changes it up a little bit. They go from the old seats to the new seats.
I'm not sure the exact date, but I
Yeah,
imagine it would be close to the inauguration date, right?
yeah,
So
that's what I was thinking. But yeah, so I just kind of want them to go away. I want this Fit 21 Act to kind of go away and a new bill with pro crypto regulations to come in. Anything that was done during the last administration, I think we need to start over because none of that was good for besides ETF. None of that was good for with the future of crypto. So I don't know. I saw this and at first I was like, oh cool, and then I was like, wait a minute, I don't want I don't want the people who got voted out to say anything about crypto right now. So.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there was definitely some good stuff in there because you have people that are
Yeah.
pro crypto with like Cynthia Loomis and Richie Torres, which is on the other side,
Yeah.
right? On the Democrat side, he's definitely pro crypto. But I
Yeah.
agree. I think there was probably some stuff that was slipped in, like from like the Maxine Waters, right? Those type of
Yep.
people that wanted that to make sure certain things were in there. So I agree with you. I like, or at least like do what happened with this last bill to where it's broken
Yeah.
down and it's on X. Because then at that case, we can all kind of break down what's being put in there.
Yeah. I just like hopefully after January 20th is when we can kind of start digging into more crypto legislation. That's when, David Sachs takes his czar's spot and all that stuff. So um
Yep, yep, yep.
moving along here, chief analyst at BitGet Research predicts the expected total range for Bitcoin this week is between 94 and 105. He's expecting it this week to hit 105 and then go potentially go back down to 94. What do you think about that? Do you think that's something that could happen here? I just can't see us hitting 105 and then getting below 100 again. Like it just doesn't make
Well,
sense.
yeah, so I think this would make sense if we do kind of get back to 94 in the second week or third week of January, because that's typically
Yeah,
when it does happen. When the pullback happens, we just had an early pullback that I think many people didn't expect after the Fed meeting, right?
yeah,
So it would actually make sense because that would be the time period of when the pullback would happen. Now, it's already been kind of messed up. So that's where
yeah,
I'm like, okay, well then, are we getting back on track here? What's happening? So that's,
yeah.
I think we got to expect the unexpected, the cycle for certain things.
100%. But like he was saying, like for like this week though. So if we hit 105 this week, I mean we're breaking out of this triangle here. I mean 105 is be like right here, by Sunday to 29th. So you think something like that is possible? Did we kind of break out of here and maybe kind of get back in this trading range that we were in, that led all the way back to back here? If we can get back in here, I think that's a big deal.
Yeah, but you have to remember though, for alts to really go, Bitcoin's dominance needs to chill
Yeah,
out, right? So it makes sense for it to go up there
yeah,
and then pull back, right? Because then the
yeah.
dominance probably because if it continually goes up, the dominance isn't going to chill out, right? Unless
That's
alts
true.
just go with it, and that's just never been really the case.
Yeah, 100%. And then it comes along to this chart right here, which is the Bitcoin dominance chart, and you can see we're kind of starting this downward trend. We were uptrend, going all the way back to December 2022, right? We're uptrend this whole time. We finally broke out of that trend. If you want to take it like back from right here, I mean, we were sitting in this trend for a long time, and we finally broke out of it downward, but we're back in it here. But I think we need to continue this downward trend here and kind of focus on this. I think this would be good for runes.
Yeah, the dominance chart. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. We do need something like that to where, you know, just the alts are more, you know, creating more percent gains than Bitcoin. That's how it works. That's how
Yeah.
it works every cycle, right? So I could see something to where Bitcoin does, you know, go back to 105, 103 to
Yeah.
105, and then alts kind of trail behind it like it has been.
Yeah.
And then Bitcoin kind of dump down to like 94, range between 94 and 97, while alts continue that strength. And
Yeah.
that would be like a perfect setup for alt season to kick off.
Yep. I agree. Stablecoins hit new heights in 2024 with a record 200 billion circulating supply in December. So this is good thing and a bad thing. It's good because you know, people are getting very liquid right now and getting ready, but at the same time, they're on the sidelines still, right? Because if stablecoins aren't being used, they get burned. So if there's a lot of tether that gets kind of taken out of the circulation, it gets burned, and then new ones come online eventually as well. But do you think this is good to have $200 billion just in stable coins right now?
Oh, well, that just shows that there's probably a lot of people sitting on the sidelines, right? Trying
Yeah.
to figure out what they want to get into. I think people are slowly getting into certain tokens right now, right?
Yeah.
They're really doing their research, they're taking their time, but you know, this is a lot to be on the
Yeah.
sidelines. I think they just need that first indicator, like you said, you know, okay, uh, this seems to be what's going to kick it off here, and then that will go down, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And on the sense of that too, is you have to remember there's a lot of stablecoin yield right now. Like Athena is offering 20% APY for holding the the USDE, I think it is, or USDTE. So I don't know. Do you think a lot of these guys are just getting stablecoin yield, or do you think they're getting ready for January and kind of getting ready for Ethereum and stuff like that? Because stablecoins, we obviously know we don't have stablecoins on Bitcoin right now. So these stablecoins
We
won't be
do, they're
going
just
into
not.
Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Well,
they're not the
yeah.
same. Yeah.
So not really. But you know, eventually they can keep up, but there's no liquidity in them at all right now, because there's no swaps. But you know, on that side of it, do you think it's a lot of money that's getting ready to pour into ETH?
I think so. I think Tether's been prepping for this, right? They've made
Yeah.
announcements where they're, you know, minting certain amount of Tether USDT and stuff like that all through last year. So I think it's been a preparation that has been in the works. And people are preparing. I mentioned this to you. You know, other
Yeah.
companies that aren't traditional crypto companies, you know, they're launching a token this cycle. You know, I
Yeah.
know like Parler's done something. You know, other brands are doing stuff, like Sony's coming out with their own chain. And so there's a lot of investment going on for like an alt season or a crypto cycle, whatever you want to say. And so even if it has to be kind of forced, it's going to happen, in my opinion. It's just, when does that kick off, right? And I think that's what
Yeah.
everybody's waiting for.
Yep. I agree. All right, South Korea crypto adoption is booming. So, dude, I saw this and I got so bullish. So listen to these things real quick. It's 45% active citizens own crypto. 45% of South Korea owns
That's
crypto.
wild.
That's insane. 69 billion held in digital assets. Average portfolio size of this 45% is 4,400. The average portfolio size. That's pretty nuts. So half the country has about $4,000 worth of crypto. Wild. 100K new investors join the market every month. So I mean, this is probably going to be 60% by the end of this year, according to this. Top 5 exchanges trade 10 billion daily. They have this thing called the Kazdak, rivaling the Kazdak. So this is South Korea, bro. This is insane. And we saw they were having some issues last I want to say last month and stuff, but for them that 40%, 45% of their citizens in crypto, and you know, the average portfolio size being $4,400, this is massive adoption.
I mean, Korea's been a big player in the crypto space.
Yeah.
I mean, they're one of the countries that they have to have like programs for people that might, you know, be a little bit too over their head and stuff, kind of like,
Yeah.
you know, make sure you're being responsible with it. But everybody's known that they've been a big player in crypto for a long time. They're just, you know, not
Yeah.
as big as like the US in terms of population and stuff. But look, this is huge. This is why I think like people want to get if tokens on those Korean exchanges as well. So this is pretty awesome to see. I think they're going to be a major player in terms of nation states that get involved with the overall digital asset markets.
Yeah, insanity. Microstrategy calls for a shareholder meeting to expand their 21 Bitcoin plan. What? So when I saw this, I was like, are you not doing enough? I mean, let's just go back to this chart here, right? This is every single time MicroStrategy has bought Bitcoin. We've never seen something like this. Like, it's always been spaced out.
21 mean though?
So that is their plan. That is their executive plan to buy Bitcoin at the top forever. That's what Saylor kind of says what it is when he's asked about it. It's to buy Bitcoin at the top forever. And so he wants to expand that. Like, how do you expand what is going on right now? How do you expand? Like, I just do you buy? Is Saylor getting insanely bullish right now, or is he too bullish right now? Like, what is?
Well,
I just
he's
don't
bought
know.
in. He's completely bought in, right? He's like 100,000% bought in, and so I just think that, like, he it's either boom or bust for him and MicroStrategy with Bitcoin at this point. Either you're on board for the ride or you're out, right? And I think that this is just a continuation of that, right? I think he's wants to see it at $1 million, and he talks to his board and says, "See, I told you so." Kind of those situations, right? But yeah, no surprise, honestly, to me that he's continuing these but hey, look, we're gonna go even harder, more aggressive for the next 4 years or whatever. It could be kind of scary maybe for them, but like for him, it's not. It doesn't seem like he's ever been like scared. He told multiple news channels, "Look, I'm gonna buy it whenever it's at $1 million. I'm gonna keep buying it."
Well, Saylor doesn't have a wife. He has no kids. Right? No, but seriously, like that's a big plan in this, because he's not planning to leave his money to anywhere, right? He's not planning to leave his wealth anywhere. So for him, it's all about what? Legacy, right? So, I mean, that's the only thing I see here is him just saying, "I want to be the richest man in the world." Like, and this is my way of doing it, because he said before he put in Bitcoin, he was just a billionaire, right? He was nothing he could do to get ahead. It was he wasn't passing Bezos, he wasn't passing Apple, he wasn't looked at like Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos or any of these big guys, right? So I think this is he saw an opening for that, and I think this is more about his legacy than it has to do with Bitcoin itself.
Probably. I mean, I guess whenever you say he was only a billionaire, but only a billionaire, I guess what else does he have to reach for, right? At that point, and it's to be the top.
Yeah.
We'll see if that happens here, because I'm sure Elon's probably
like that.
Yeah,
I'm not saying, but
I know what you
when
meant.
you talk about Elon Musk, you're not talking about the billionaire Elon Musk. You're talking about the guy who's created this massive amount of amazing things. When you look at Michael Saylor before Bitcoin, just saw this guy who made an amazing company,
Good investor,
and did really well. Great investor. He invested in Apple, stuff like that. But now you kind of see him as that guy who took Bitcoin from. I mean, look, he was buying it back here, right? At $10,000, and he took this guy who just. He saw something that no one else saw yet. I mean, we've seen it, but TradFi didn't. He took that aspect of this is huge to where it is today. But it's a little scary. I believe in Bitcoin more than anyway. I was thinking
you're scared for him.
I'm scared for Bitcoin to get liquidated. If Michael Saylor starts accidentally liquidating Bitcoin because, let's just say, Bitcoin, he gets a loan and Bitcoin can easily drop back down to 70,000. I mean, we know that. It's very manipulated. Somebody could manipulate him out of it. That's what they did with Tether, right? Sam Bankman-Fried did the Tether. I mean, not Tether, did to Luna. It could happen, and it's a little scary.
Yeah, that part's scary, but imagine his fail safes, right? And so he has things set up. This was a narrative that was, I think, in 2022, right, when the bear market came, and there was a lot of immense sell pressure on Bitcoin, and the whole topic was let's get Saylor, let's liquidate Saylor. For all the bears were putting that out there, and he wasn't worried, he wasn't scared, so he has fail safes in place. And this is a very intellectual person, right? That you have to be really smart to get to $1 billion. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. the people say that like Elon Musk is lucky because he came into he takes people's companies. You're an idiot. Like you have to be smart to take people's companies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that's the thing. I think that like people are worried about him, but I believe that he's going to be like 5 steps ahead. You know what I'm saying? For that.
Yeah.
From the outside, though, it's good publicity for him to be this way, to be hyper aggressive because people talk about him. He's in headlines and stuff like that. So I just think he's been playing his cards right ever since, probably since he got into investing. And I think one of the titles that he can try to, strive for is best investor ever, maybe, So
yeah. Well, that's what Chamath. So at this past weekend was the All In podcast. They did a live event, and Chamath got on stage, and they asked him who is his biggest winning investor this year. He said Michael Saylor, and then the crowd just went nuts. The crowd, and then Jason Calcanis was like, "Wow, there's a lot of Bitcoin maxis here today. What could go wrong? What could go wrong?" And I was just like, "But for Chamath to say that's pretty big for Chamath.
Yeah,
one of the." But Chamath's kind of like in Saylor's spot before, right? Where he was just like, just another billion,
well,
right? But
I think Saylor, once he went in though, right? Like, and Chamath like went in and he got kind of convinced to come out. And so he regrets that.
He said forced, but
yeah, he regrets that. But I love listening to those guys. I think those guys are brilliant. Obviously, the lead host, what's his name? Jason
Calcanis.
Calcanis. Him and Saylor go back and forth about Bitcoin, and he kind of calls him out about the approaches that he takes to acquire more and stuff like that. But I think there's going to be a big back and forth once things get crazy between them two.
Yeah. Well, Jason sucks as an investor. He's only invested in 2 successful companies, and that were Uber and Robinhood. So
is he a billionaire too?
He made $1 billion off because he was friends with the founder of Uber, so he was one of the first people to give Uber money. So he made buckets of billions of dollars off Uber. So as the last bit of news before we get into the fear and greed, Russia is using Bitcoin in foreign trade, finance minister says. So this is the first time this has ever came out that a country was using it for foreign trade, and it's Russia, because they're blackballed from the SWIFT, right, and all that. So they don't really have a lot more choices. But the fact that they chose Bitcoin to do foreign trade is huge.
Yeah, but that it's part of the Bitcoin kind of gives you freedom type of situation, right?
Yeah.
Like that was the biggest weapon the U.S. had before, is to put sanctions on countries, and I think this is one of the big reasons why they might not, they might be against Bitcoin, is because it takes that power away. But at the end of the day, Bitcoin's decentralized, and it's shown that the power of decentralization in this aspect has been able to evade, the U.S. government from, not allowing, the globe to utilize it, and that allows countries like Russia to be able to have other options. So in the end, I think this is good, because it gives other outlets, and you can scale it all the way down to the individual person that isn't banked in Africa. You know what I mean? So that's why, if you see the good in what Bitcoin can bring, you can see it scaled from the individual person to like huge countries.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's get into the Bitcoin fear and greed here. So last Thursday we were at 75. Yesterday, Christmas Day, we were at 73. So my hint for you today is we are above that 75 of last week and 73 of yesterday. What do you think we are?
78.
Pretty damn close, 79. So yeah, we're sitting at 79 here. Do you think this is? I don't feel 79. I don't feel like we're sitting at 79 right now. I feel like maybe 70, 65. I just don't feel that enthusiasm right now.
Probably lower 70s. But it jumps around because the price of Bitcoin has been jumping around. We almost cracked 100K again, right? Yesterday, right?
Yeah.
But then today we're back down to 95. So I think that's why it's jumping around so much. But I agree. I think like the overall sentiment is probably closer to 73 than it is 79.
Yep. All right. Let's get into that Bitcoin price action brought to you by BitPerp. BitPerp's Botonics testnet is just about live, guys. We're gonna get ready to make our tutorial video for those guys. So tune in for that. They're saying it'll be around the first week of January for everyone to get started. But you guys can go to bitperp.io right now and play with it if you want to. So there's a raffling system that they are doing. So once you make a trade, you get put in this raffle and you potentially win some, I think it's USDT or BTP. We'll find out exactly for you guys in the tutorial video, so check that out. But BitPerp is going to be the leading leverage trading platform in the Bitcoin ecosystem, because they're going to allow you to trade your runes, allow you to trade your BRC20s with leverage, and that's what's going to be fun. Right now you can only trade a couple, but eventually with BitPerp, you might be able to trade them all, especially when there's liquidity pools and stuff like that available, where we can get some really good tracking and stuff like that. So look out for BitPerp and check out bitperp.io.
Yep. And before we get into the Bitcoin price action on the YouTube side, guys, if you wouldn't mind sharing this or liking this live, and then also subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, if you wouldn't mind sharing the space so we can educate as many people as possible, and then smash that like for us as well. But let's jump into the Bitcoin price action. So I'm not going to share the BitPerps charts quite yet, because they are still working on the price on that. So they're getting that updated. But taking a look here at the hour chart, this is what I was talking about. We got all the way up to 99,000, almost 400 on Christmas Day. And then it was like consolidation, up and down, and then a big dump to almost complete that Bart Simpson pattern here. You can see. But where are we today? Today, chop back and forth, and then it looked like TradFi markets opened at 8:30 and wanted to go push up a bit. So we were able to get to like 96.3, and now we're kind of seeing that rotation come back down. So we're sitting right now at 95.858. So seems like it looks like we want to be in like this consolidation kind of pattern right now. I don't necessarily think that we're going to be going down too much further. If we do, we did touch down right here, I think was like 92. Yeah, 92,151. Could we see that? Of course we could. But I do think that we are going to probably chop a little bit more with an uptrend eventually. And I agree. I think we could get up to like a little over 100K. And then a pullback to me would not surprise me at all. But on the hour chart, for the second half of today, we're in a really good spot for the stochastic RSI. Like we're at like 24, almost 25 on the point scale for the hour chart. So on the hour chart could be a good entry here. You can see on the MACD, this huge kind of like the sell pressure on the MACD got really big around here, which was 7 p.m. yesterday, it looks like. And then that's when the sell-off started to really occur. But it looks like we're trying to come out of that. You can see the blue line, the leading indicator line on the MACD, looks like it wants to tick up here. If this is the case, then we might see a little chop down with a thrust up here to maybe try to challenge that 100K mark again. Now, does that happen second half of today? I'm not sure. Possibly, but maybe today or tomorrow. So that's what I'm thinking for the second half of today. And then looking at the 4-hour chart, which could give us a couple day forecast, 2-3 day forecast leading into the weekend. This is a little bit different. So maybe it doesn't happen the way I think it is on the hour chart. But it looks like it is kind of coming out of the buy pressure zone on the MACD, right? We're just now crossing over the oversold territory on the stochastics. But, the hour chart manipulates the 4-hour chart, or changes, affects, I should say, the 4-hour chart. So if it does play out how I said on the hour chart, and we do end up, thrusting back up second half of today, maybe early tomorrow, then this could kind of, curb and end up coming back up. So we're already below the 20-point mark. So we're already considered technically oversold already. So that would be okay to see this like 1-2 red candles on the MACD and then reverse up for heading into the weekend. But always I would say right now is a time to probably be careful, extra careful, because yes, I do think that we are priming, kind of getting ready for like this alt season, and Bitcoin is going to be probably more volatile during that time, meaning go up and then pull back and then alts take off. When does that happen though? Typically it's the middle of January, maybe second week of January, but with the timing being a bit off this cycle, us dumping the week before Christmas, that's not typical at all. This it could throw off the timing a little bit. So just, pay attention every day. I would say just be careful if you're trying to, take leverage positions, because this is whenever you can get especially wrecked. Now, if you time it well with some of these alts, you can make out like a bandit. But again, that's that risk. So I definitely don't recommend anything in terms of leverage or anything like that, because you got to make sure that you're well equipped for that. But that's what I'm saying for Bitcoin. Second half of today, I'm looking at chop leading into maybe an uptrend, and if that's the case, then the 4-hour chart will probably change kind of drastically here, but we shall see.
Yeah, man. So sideways and then some up.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yep. All right, let's get into the roll call here. Let's bring it back. My man Tim Baker, AOD art himself. Shout out to Tim Bake. Here we go. You made it today. We put out the thumbnail this morning. So shout out to Tim. He was waiting. He was watching. I think I put it out right at 8:30. He got in at 8:31. Shout out to Tim, man. Love you, guy. Mempool Punk is here. Shout out to Mempool Punk. Mats is in the building. He says roll call, guys. Merry Xmas. You too, my friend. Bitmap Capital always here. Shout out to you, my friend. Web3V is here. Shout out to you. He says Stacks is king. Wow. Put a Stacks comment.
Look at that PFP.
I know. I didn't want to mention it. And then he also says BTC domain names. Are you bullish on BTC domain names?
I don't know. I mean, Stack started that, right?
Yeah.
Or they were kind of behind that. And then the Sats took over that narrative.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe Stacks brings it back and it dominates, but we shall see.
Yep. Joko is here. Says GM. Hope everyone had a nice Xmas. I think we all did here. Steamy J is here. GM fan. PJNZ goes, what's up, all? Happy Christmas. Shout out to Peanut Butter Jelly Time himself. Nagi is here. He says, let's go. Shout out to Nagi. PJNZ says, 5 a.m. Can't sleep. May as well hang out in the live. Shout out to you, my friend. You must be out in Cali. Thank you so much.
No, he's in New Zealand.
New Zealand. Gotcha. Lackey Lukey is here. So Lackey Lukey was Bitcoin as Billy Cat. Shout out to you, my friend. Chief Axel is here. Shout out to Chief Axel every single day. One of our mods. Mats is here. Merry Christmas, lads. Ant-Man is here. And we have Jonathan Mitchell. I think it's your first time making roll call. Thank you so much for being here today. Shout out to y'all. Everyday grind. Shout out to Jonathan Mitchell. Mr. Sheedy is here. He says Bitmap is king. Rick G says long live Ordinal Revolution. Stack Sats, Billy to a Billy. Shout out to Rick G. Rick G also says happy holidays, Chief Axel, PJNZ, Mr. Sheedy, Yasher, Joko, Tim Baker, all the OGs. Shout out to Tim. I don't see Yasher here yet. I Walk Alone is here. The Lonely Bit.fb. What do you guys think about FB performance and current state so far? So I think that I'm not talking about price. I'm not talking about FB price. I think the price can do things that are crazy, but the chain has no value. The chain is dead, and I mean that in the sense of there's no users, and it's just saddening over there. You can see the volume; it's extremely low. What do you think about FB and the current state so far?
Yeah, so I agree with you that the usage is low, but so was Stacks, right? So I think it really depends on the support of the early adopters, right? It's still not listed on Binance, which to me is a bit shocking. I would have thought that it would have got listed on Binance in the jump because of Unisat kind of backing Fractal. But I agree. I think that we're going to be able to really see the performance of FB, in like February, March, April. If it's not performing well, for an example of that would be like if it doesn't get over $10, then that's really bad in my opinion, because you know something that has 8-9 million in circulating supply, meaning that like the demand, if it's there, this thing should soar. It should soar to like 50, 75, even higher possibly. It all depends on demand, and you can see that through an example of like something like Hyperliquid versus like Magic Eden's token. I've been banging my head against my desk trying to figure out what's happening, and it just seems like a lot of airdroppers really dumped their Magic Eden token right away, and Hyperliquids didn't, and that's what seems to be the difference. So are the miners going to dump? And that could happen here. They've already been dumping and pushing the price down. So I would say pay very close attention in February and March. If it's not moving aggressively, even a little bit, then probably, be worried.
Like, and even like, it seems like Francis has left because He was the biggest proponent of FB. He was the reason why a lot of people went there to begin with. And if you look at his last 12 tweets, they're all about base chain. So when you lose your biggest influencer, like what Fractal did, can they survive without Francis?
Well, I don't think they were ever trying to rely on him. You know what I mean?
Well,
Since the
he
beginning.
was heavily the reason.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, but he wasn't even given a grant, right? So to me, I think
No.
that's like something that you kind of reap what you sow in that situation, right? Like, you gotta support the people that support you. And but we'll see. One thing about them is they do have some big players that are behind them. So they which have I would assume large capital that they can, just snap out a finger. So they could, push this leading into, and I feel like a lot of builders in the East kind of think that way. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, until it's time for alt season, we're not gonna like get crazy. And so, you got the Bit Smileys, you got them, you got other people like that. So again, February, March, pay close attention to FB and see what the price action's like there, because you're gonna know pretty much how it's gonna go.
Yep. We got my man Akala is here. Shout out to you every single day. Zeesh is here. What's up, Zeesh? He says, I'm hearing a XR. What? Get out of here, Z. What are you? I'm hearing the XRP and BTC will become. Do you realize XRP, $1 billion of 1 billion XRP is being dumped every single month from Ripple? Every month they dump 1 billion XRP. XRP will never be a Stop it. I think you're just trying to like get me heated. They manipulate silver and gold. Now the bankers are in the space. Larry Fink is with his Aladdin.
AI Aladdin.
I don't know what you're talking about here.
So he's talking about the algorithmic software that they use to trade.
Gotcha.
That's why they always win.
Oh, yeah. I gotcha. Yashir's here. Shout out to you, my friend. I knew you were here. I'm sorry, man. You watch it. Sorry about that. And Zish goes, Elon is bellied with BlackRock, Vanguard. Facts just need to look at his family tree. Yeah, I don't dig into that type of stuff. Alta is here. Then we have Gilly. Ooh, tough one here. Gilly Adore G Blog is here. Shout out to you, my friend. I hope I got that right. Will Ordinals make a return back? We're gonna get into that in a few minutes, I promise. Mike Bennett is here. Hill Billy is here. GM from Pennsylvania Wilds. Hello. I'm in Pennsylvania as well. So shout out to you, my friend. Yasher says, I am here, Shizzy, doing farming. Shout out to you, my friend. I figured you were just earpiece away. Yasher says, FB had its chance, but with these chains that are introduced, I assume it's quite over for Fractal. I might be wrong though. I actually agree with you. I just don't see a comeback. I hope I'm wrong though. Chief Naples is here. Shout out to you, my friend. Then we have Mike Bennett. It says, and FB and Cat got good tech, right? I guess we're about to find out. And then, sure, Francis basically bring people in a chain, and people lose in that chain, and then he left. Yeah, that's exactly what happened there. So,
I think people probably made money in the beginning of that, and then the traders probably got out, right?
Yeah, so 100%. Yeah, it went $35. Everyone just bounced and then just left the back holders to defend for themselves. But then we had Cat 20s, which was fun and exciting and new. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
Yep.
All right. Let's get into the first ecosystem topic for today. Bitcoin Ordinals and Runes are dead again. Is Bitcoin a part of the AI narrative? So let's start in the first part. We got this from this guy Mario Naval. If you don't know who he is, he's a big influencer on X. He said he has these spaces that are completely botted. If you ever see someone in his space, just know that they're paying like between $40,000 and $80,000 for that, for his botted space. So Mario, he's kind of a joke for people that understand him. But if you do see a project on his show, just know that project is probably going to fail. And so I'm just going to say that. But he says, runes to ruins. Bitcoin's once famous tokens now account for only 1.6% of the transactions. I don't think that is true. Runes dominated over 50% of Bitcoin transactions in the mid 2024, now just 1.67. Yikes. With everyone hyped about AI coins and NFTs, who's got time for the risky Bitcoin experiments? History says that it'll bounce back, but for now, runes are the forgotten child of the BTC innovation, the source, the block. I'd love to get your opinion on all this.
Yeah, so I don't know where they're pulling the data from, but from Dune, Dune.com, I think maybe there was one point where it was down to 1%, but yeah, that's not, so I guess since he's more specifically talking about runes, I want to share this dashboard from Dune. So you can see the one thing he does have correct is that it has, the activity has gone down, quite a bit. You can see right here, this is whenever runes first launched, and it was, let's see, 52, about, and at the highest it was like 81%. That was like whenever they launched, right, the halving. And then it slowly started going down, it popped back up here. It actually got down all the way to like almost 5%. Then it started creeping back up in August, and it got back to like 32%. And then it got really low. So I think he's talking about this period of, let's say, December. Let's say December is whenever it started to get really low. I see a 2.8% here. But then, which is really weird, is it got back to 20% yesterday on Christmas Day. So I guess a lot of people were doing some Christmas shopping. Maybe some people were like, their parents, older adults, their parents are like, what do you want for Christmas? I have cash. And they're like, I want runes. They're like, how do you do that? And they just buy them right then. I don't know. Like, it's weird. There was definitely fire sales for sure in the runes ecosystem, right? The past couple of days. So that could have something to do with it. But yes, so in the I guess the point, if he's trying to make, hey, look, it's decreased steadily since it's launched, that part is true. But I think that has a lot to do with the way that runes works, I guess, like from a fundamental standpoint, right? There's a lot of deployment early on, and then trying to get people to deploy. But with the transfer inscriptions, those transactions, those are a part of BRC20's transactions as well. So I think that's a difference, right? Like when we saw BRC20's previous, the UTXO bloat, let's be honest, there was bloat there, but that also attributed to a lot of transaction volume, right? So another thing I will say is that, for this to get back up, is we need that solution, like something like Arch Network is building, right? Something that's going to be more exciting and more of a, constant, like consistency of energy up and down, but like constant, right? And I think with runes and the way that assets work on Bitcoin layer 1 is it's really set up for like buy and hold, honestly. Now there are some good flippers that are good at buying and still listing them this way, whether it's ordinals or runes, and they're really great at the 2 to 5, maybe 10x, but they've mastered it to where they're not too greedy, and they don't wait till after 10x. Those people are really successful in this type of trading environment. But to get the masses, to get those people over, they need the dopamine hit, and we don't have that. And I think that the solution will be something like Arch Network, maybe Tap, if they increase like the user experience there, because I've traded using the swap on Tap, and it wasn't a great experience. It was what they had said it would be, but it just wasn't super great. And so Arch, in my opinion, is something that can bring that, other than layer 2s. But I think you still need this kind of virtual machine to actually enhance the layer 2s, right? You know what I'm saying? So like Arch is its own network and environment, but like they can facilitate other layers as well and other chains, I think, with their virtual machine. And then I think we have a better ecosystem and better experience for traders at that point.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. And with Tap, problem with Tap is like, if you go to do the swap, what are you swapping into? You're swapping into the Tap token. You might swap in the NAT token. You might swap in the Spooky token, right? But like that's it. Like there's no other token over there. There's no volume on Ordinal's wallet that'll actually, no one's buying anything on Tap. And I think they kind of missed that momentum swing of last year. So they're kind of waiting patiently, I guess you could say, and just kind of building in the background and kind of hoping for that next leg up with these ecosystem tokens, right? So, do you think once runes start going, something like Tap could actually make a comeback, or do you think that maybe it's just then you just go get a stable coin and just trade Bitcoin to stables?
Well, it's like this, right? You're trying to build a solution for something that's needed in the space, in the ecosystem,
Yeah,
but you're building it not for the most popular asset. You're building it for one that's like number three. So if let's say that Tap was building for runes, I think that would have been a different outcome. At least
yeah,
like trying it out more, right? Because then you have a vested interest of groups of people that are saying, "Oh shit,
yeah,
they have like billion-dollar cat liquidity pools over there, or they have this liquidity pools over there." And this is not a stab at Tap assets. It's more a stab at like I think strategy and
yeah,
expectation, right? Because expectation for Tap tokens trading at high volumes, even with a better solution, shouldn't be out of this world. You know what I mean? It should be
yeah,
based on the demand of what your community size is, because that's who you have to rely on initially, regardless. You can't rely on outside people that don't even know what Tap fungible tokens are. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So I think that's where, they could have done a little bit, better. But again, I understand why they went with Tap, because it is their protocol, but just don't expect like huge
yeah.
volumes of trading on there. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
exactly. Yeah, 100%. And not allowing runes trading is probably a big mistake for them, right? Because obviously, runes were 51% to your point. And yeah, I don't think it's going to get, why would you use it? Like, why would you use the Taproot swap right now? No one's, I don't want, tap. Like, I don't want, you know what I mean? Like, that's the only thing you can do is go Bitcoin to tap to Bitcoin, and and maybe get the NAT token. But yeah, but we definitely need swaps. We need Arch. Arch is building that for runes, right? Arch is doing exactly what I thought Tap would be, is kind of what Arch is going to be. And that is why we're very bullish on that. Because something Saturn showing you right now, Saturn is just trading, it's just runes on there, right? It's all testnet, but it's all testnet runes. Like there's no other
Yeah.
thing there. I think that's why it's going to be big. But once we get that, I think everything's going to change. I think the volume's going to go, it's going to fly to the roof.
Yeah, and you made a great point. They open their test net to everybody, so people can
Yeah.
talk about their
Yeah.
experience, right? And that's a big deal. Also you have to remember too, like Tap it kind of leveraged the ICP technology to do this, which already existed,
Yeah.
right? And then other people are leveraging Near's technology, and both these types of
Yeah.
technology offer this like prover network or whatever, like to minimize trust assumptions. But with Arch, they custom built theirs to really like cater towards what's needed right now.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that's where an advantage is, plus the marketing. So you got to have tech and marketing. Marketing is actually more important, in my opinion. And I think Arch has that because they're backed by
Yeah.
BTC Labs, Startup Labs. They're also backed by Bitcoin Frontier Fund. And as much as things can get political, it is what it is at the end of the day. They're going to get the hard push as of right now. And so I'm excited to see when they go live. Whether that's January, February, March. I think it's going to be one of those months. But I think that's where the mass adoption comes. And then also once they actually create that virtual machine that everybody likes, then the forks will come, right? Or some
Yeah.
sort of like bridge that can help with these L2s. Like they'll utilize the virtual machine, and then the bridge will be seamless, more seamless, like something like Merlin or to another chain. And I think that's when the excitement will come and satisfy that dopamine hit with the fast trading.
Yeah. 100%. I agree.
Yep.
And anything last thing with this, do you want to get
Yeah.
into, or we good here?
Yeah, so I do want to show because a lot of people
Yeah.
are saying also that like ordinals are dead as well. So this was a 30-day data analytics breakdown by Crypto Slam. And we all know that Ethereum has had this NFT push lately, the past month and a half, 2 months, because they're catching up. Because let's be honest, they were like dead the past
Yeah.
before that. Like let's say like out of the past year and a half, for the past year, it's been Bitcoin that has had a lot of attention with ordinals. Now, the last 3-4 months, Ethereum has had a lot more attention than everybody. And you can see from the past month, like 505 million with Ethereum sales, and then Bitcoin is 186 million, right? So, but this is in my opinion, this is fine. This is actually really great, because if you go back to, let's say, 2021, Bitcoin was probably like number, I don't know, maybe like 30 or 20 something, because the only NFTs that they had were from Counterparty, and the low, Counterparty rare pepes they sell for high, but there's just not a lot of volume there. The fact that there's massive volume still coming from Ordinals is, to me, an indicator that like these assets are here to stay. For the first time ever, like Bitcoin has assets other than Bitcoin itself on the chain that exist, that are in competitive, daily volume marketplaces, and let's just, tell it how it is. It's Ordinals is the sole reason, not the sole, but the main reason that Magic Eden became the #1 NFT platform.
Yeah.
People can complain all they want, but the one thing I'll say is, if you look at the buyers, you can see that like the buyers number and users are smaller in the Bitcoin ecosystem, but the dollar value comparatively is larger. So if we can get the users to increase, then we will be #1 eventually. So I just want to put that out there. And yes, I'll admit I do have bias, because we cover the Bitcoin ecosystem, but I think from someone that could go over the data for the last 2 years with zero bias, and then how Bitcoin existed in terms of digital art and stuff like that before that, they would say Bitcoin is here to stay. And if the user base can go up in numbers, then it will be crowned #1 eventually.
Yeah, I agree. And just to kind of take a look at like what on other chains, right? The NFTs, like Pudgy Penguins, probably a big reason why Ethereum is #1. You got the Pudgies, Azuki, you have Azuki Elements again, and you do have things like where are they? The punks, right? The punks are on here and stuff like that.
Crypto
But
punks.
you look at crypto punks. But you look at something like Solana, right? Like, can you even name like Mad Lads maybe? But like everything else, I've never even heard
Is
of.
Miladies from there, or are they Ethereum?
I think Miladies is Ethereum.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure, actually. I got 50. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Miladies are Ethereum.
Yeah, they would be in the top 10.
Yeah, Miladies.
Okay.
Right there.
Yeah. So yeah, the only other ones that I can think of from Solana are, the
Mad Lads.
Mad Lads, DeGod started there, but they're not there anymore.
Yeah.
What was that snake one?
I don't know. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
SMB Gen 2. I didn't even know that was their name, but I see a lot of those on the
Yeah,
timeline.
I do.
But yeah, I agree. I don't think that. Oh, DeGods is there. They are back. Okay.
Yeah, but I think this is like, yeah, maybe they did bridge back. Is this the original DeGods? Yeah, I'm not sure. But I know DeGods left. Yeah, they are an hour ago. Yeah.
Oh, so maybe they did. Maybe they did bridge back.
But 16 Sol, I mean, I thought they would be a lot higher than that. But heading back though, Bitcoin, I mean, everyone knows the puppets, everyone knows the node monkeys at this point. But like an ape chain, like what's on there, right? Like, is there any NFTs collections on there that are worth even looking at? I never even heard of any of these. So
yeah. Well, are they doing volume? I think they are. Let's see. Nope, they're not really. They're not in the top
36,000 ape.
Yeah, they're not in the top 23 yet, but they are new. But the funny thing is, they don't have their apes on there, which to me is hilarious.
I know,
but it's more of a security thing. They're utilizing some sort of like mirror approach. Actually, we can maybe ask Jake, since he's a NFT historian. By the way, we are going to have Jake Gallen on from Emblem Vault here in the next probably 5-10 minutes. Jump on with us, but yeah.
Yep. Kind of getting these last topics where he hops on. Minka with special guest Must Stop Murad says one of the biggest Ordinals and Runes, some of the biggest Ordinals and Runes will probably do well. He said this on Minka's show. Minka does like a Solana type show. She does Ethereum type stuff on there as well. But do you think it's a big deal for him to go on these podcasts and even mention Ordinals and Runes? Or has he lost his flame here?
No, I don't think he's lost his flame. But yeah. I think the people that have a lot of mind share in the digital artifacts and fungible token space have made these type of comments. Like Luca from Pudgy Penguins have said, he's big on certain runes and ordinal collections. They're just kind of keeping it you know, in the back of their mind. But these weren't conversations that were had that often, you know, last cycle in terms of rare Pepes. I think the big collectors and stuff probably talked about them. You know, Emblem was had their hand in it by being able to bridge utilizing their vaults and stuff like that. But now there's a big entire market that has, you know, $180 million of monthly volume that we saw in probably a down month for Ordinals last month. But you know, so it's gonna be continued conversation. And I actually think that making the experience better, and I keep bringing Arch up because they work hand in hand, right? Like the digital side, or the NFT, the ordinal side with fungible tokens, because like they kind of switch, like, you know, the liquidity can switch back and forth. One liquidity works completely different. But I think that experience actually will create more demand for ordinals as well. And they'll probably have an ordinal platform on Arch that is quick, right?
So it sounds like to me is like we're begging for Arch to kind of be.
You're the last. You're the last hope.
Arch is the last hope for Ordinals and Runes at this point.
They probably love that if they hear that.
I know. We should tell them about this, but so MBTC from Merlin Layer 2 is now live on Duckchain. And obviously no one here has heard of Duckchain, but the fact that it is you know, it's MBTC is really going to be everywhere. And I think that, you know, people don't understand that that's going to be one of the biggest parts of Merlin is their Merlin wrap Bitcoin that earns you yield for holding it. You know, back in the day when you got the MBTC, it was because you staked your Bitcoin and you got MBTC there. That was kind of teaching you how to do it and how to earn. And so people that are holding the MBTC, just like wrap Bitcoin, you're actually earning yield from doing so. But now it's on Duckchain.
Yeah, so you would know what Duckchain is if you utilize Timon at the Timon app, because that's one of the tasks, right? So I think Duckchain is like a meme chain probably that's related to Telegram's digital asset class, I guess. But I think these are like the little intricate moves that Merlin Chain makes on a weekly basis that add up, right? Because they get more recognition in different parts of the world. You know, one of the the biggest chain in Korea, you know, Merlin's trying to get onboarded on, right? And so, you know, they're always traveling to Japan to shows over there and stuff like that. And so this is bullish in my opinion, just constantly just putting your breadcrumbs everywhere, right? But again, like the synthetic and wrapped version of Bitcoin is starting to be like this way to brand at the same time, create TVL, right? For your chain, for your protocol, whatever it is, right? And we see that if you go to protocols like Avalon, you see like there's probably 6 different wrapped Bitcoins. And I think that that's a smart play if you can build that foundation for that. And so that's what this is.
Yeah, 100%. Alt season is when BTC dominance craters as people take profits from Bitcoin. So this is a tweet from what's his name? The BTC dominance guy. Yeah, Benjamin Cohen. He tweeted this out. And so we're not going to see, and I want to bring this up right now because I just don't, you know, we're not going to see anything in runes or anything period in here until Bitcoin dominance craters. And right now we're sitting at 58% Bitcoin dominance, but we need this to drop back down in the 50s, right? For runes and the ecosystem to really take that next step. Do you feel that way as well?
Yeah, I do. And when is that going to happen? I think that guy probably will be the first indicator that when he says, okay, guys, I have a feeling, because he's not going to prematurely do it. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to prematurely do it. That guy takes like screenshots. He takes like all types of stuff. So he wants to be right and accurate as much as he can. So I think once you hear Benjamin Cohen say, okay, guys, I think the dominance is heading back down, that's when you probably should be paying attention to altcoins.
Yep. We got Jake Allen below. Bring him up 1 second, but he had a tweet this morning. That kind of was perfect. He said yesterday Santa Claus rally, today tax loss harvesting. It's pretty funny how quickly the narratives change in this space.
Yeah,
So,
true, very true. Santa Raleigh was definitely something that started with a lot of energy and then interrupted with a lot of stress and sadness, and then I don't think we've continued on. So that's where I guess where the tax loss harvesting comes in. But like you, I'm ready for the new year to start.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So without further ado, let's bring in Jake. Jake, welcome back to Ordinal Revolution.
Yeah, what's up? What's good, gents? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever everyone celebrates. How was your festivities over the week?
It was good. It was
Good,
good.
man.
It was just
Yeah.
you know, really relaxing with the family and stuff like that.
Good. It's important to touch grass and get some presents, right? It's sometimes it's tough to leave the screen even when it's the holidays.
Well, all my grass is dead. There's no grass outside right now. I mean, it would take me forever to go find some. It's 20 degrees right now. There's nothing on the trees. There's nothing on the grass. It's very cold. But
man, good. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Ready to be back. I have to say this last week was my first week off of the show. I think this entire year. So I'm sure you guys know, as somebody who hosts shows literally every day or pretty much 5 days a week, that even taking a few days off feels like something's missing.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like we were off Tuesday and Wednesday, and like yesterday, like halfway through the day, like after the presents stuff, I'm sitting on the couch. I was like, I don't know what to do with myself. Like, do I play video games? Like, I just didn't know. I didn't know what to do with myself. It was so weird. But yeah.
Well, glad to be back.
Yeah, man.
Yep. Obviously Emblem Vault is a major player in the Bitcoin ecosystem, kind of establishing itself as this new, in my opinion, is going to be the number one tool to be able to, move your Bitcoin layer 1 assets to different chains and stuff like that. But also there's a couple other things that are going on besides the jump action that you guys are going to have with Lit Protocol. One of them is the AI wallets, which we'll get into later. But the other one is the emblem keys and the vaulting and being able to take the necessary steps to be able to transition from your co-vault to this new way of doing it. And so that's what we're going to start off with, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, I would love to talk about, we could go through the co-vault kind of numbers, which I'll share here in a second, and then also some key strategies. We've heard a decent amount of feedback over the last 3 weeks or so since we revealed kind of what the plans were moving forward. And I would say it was all quite positive. There's 3 different kind of main programs that we have heading into next year in ways that you can either purchase keys, be rewarded keys, or kind of earn keys. And also Emblem's just a unique technology. So it takes a handful of, educational kind of hurdles to overcome, which is, why I'm excited that Emblem and Ordinal Revolution could partner together, because I think it's pretty cohesive opportunity there. For co-vault, for those aren't familiar, I'll just kind of run through kind of the what's really happening here. So Emblem co-vault originally started on Counterparty in 2016 as co-vault C, and then it migrated to Ethereum in 2019 after kind of the Bitcoin community was a little bit aggressive towards builders, and now we have this opportunity to return home to Bitcoin. So in this process, we have a token called co-vault, which is almost pretty much close to dead at this point. Unfortunately, because we had to take some very tough decisions last year of basically pausing the entire system and rebuilding Emblem from the ground up, which obviously caused the token to pretty much slide 90% or so. And so now with co-vault and an ERC20 token, and you can't directly airdrop a Bitcoin token to an Ethereum address. So we created this migration process that also coincides with some other things that we're doing, to where we release something called a time lock vault, which is essentially just a time locked NFT with a Bitcoin wallet inside. So users will take their co-vault, put it inside of this vault, and it'll be time locked until October of next year. It's actually Bitcoin block 920,000. And then once that opens, we're going to airdrop the keys in there, which is the rune. And then users will just accept the rune there with the private key. So as of today, we've seen about, I think close to, I'm looking at the numbers real quick. 450 vaults have been made. We'll have specific numbers some point next year across about 50 different people. If you go on OpenSea and you type in CoVault time locks, you can actually see the collection. With one caveat, we haven't put the new artwork up yet. So it's just kind of a general image there, and we have to add traits. So it will look a lot more pretty per se here coming next year. Just Emblem's a small team, right? We have one full-time dev and we have 2 devs that we just hired this month who are still kind of training. So we got everything functional and working, and then we're going to come back and pretty much beautify it in the next few weeks after we have our AI agent live here in the next few weeks, and then a few other things, which maybe we'll talk about after.
Awesome. Yeah. This is exciting because obviously for our community that's familiar, with the Bitcoin ecosystem, you guys are going to have a rune. And I think this is very unique the way that you guys are doing it. And it works out for the CoVault holders, right? Like, so there's these, actually, you don't even have to be a CoVault original holder. You can go buy CoVault and take this approach. So it's almost a strategy in terms of if you do the math and if it makes sense. But let's say that I am a CoVault holder and I'm ready to create the vault. So if you could, Shizzy, do you want to actually do it? If you could guide Shizzy maybe with a step-by-step on what to do here, that'd be great.
Yep. Yeah. So we created 3 different amounts that you can vault. So you can vault in amounts of 5,000 CoVault, 50,000 CoVault, and 500,000 CoVault. And the reason why we did this is kind of multiple reasons. One of them is that when you lock these ERC20s, you get an NFT, right? So something similar to kind of like a 404. That NFT actually has utility. So that utility is a vault discount. So the top number. So if you lock 500,000 CoVault, you get an NFT that gives you 60% vaulting fee discount. So it comes out to about $8 a vault. We've actually seen hundreds of vaults being created since this discount was created from our power users. Obviously, on top of that, you also get the airdrop with it. So what you're going to do here is you're already on the collections page. You're just going to scroll down a little bit, and you're going to go click on the select curated collection, and then it's going to say, scroll down a little bit, it'll be CoVault time locks, CoVaL, time lock. And you just go and hit create vault. And it's gonna take a second to load. On the back end, what it's doing is just from a technical standpoint, is doing something called a MPC, multi-party computation, and a DKG, which is a distributed key generation. So it's actually creating a Bitcoin wallet or an Ethereum wallet on the back end and a Bitcoin wallet. So this is your vault. This is called the created stage. You're gonna scroll down, and you're going to be presented with an ETH address. So click on the ETH address where it says ETH. Click on ETH.
Okay, click it itself. Okay.
Yeah, just click on that, and you're just going to copy the address. You actually have to do Control-C for right now. So just copy it. Our devs have to fix that.
If you double, there you go.
Yeah, and then you're just going to go open up your MetaMask, and you're going to send either a very specific amount of 5,000, 50,000, or 500,000 CoVault.
It's showing my CoVault down here, but it's not showing me in the wallet.
Interesting. Yeah, it looks like our front end is reading that. Did it send?
So it should
send it out.
Yeah.
So still let me send, right?
Oh, it might be in a different wallet. Is possible. Look at where you're
saying I have it.
Oh.
Yeah.
If
it says you have it, you should. Yeah. So he has to do a certain amount though.
Just 500,000 you're gonna send. Yeah. So we'll do the top amount. I think comes out to like $1,000 or so.
Yeah.
Yep. So then you just send that specific amount into the vault, and then within 30 seconds or 60, however long it takes the Ethereum block to clear, then you literally will just hit mint and you'll be done. And that'll be the process.
Let me send for
is-
some reason.
Maybe refresh the page, because that's happened to me before.
It's possible.
Yeah, with MetaMask, to where I just had to close MetaMask and reopen it. So maybe go through those steps again.
The address still the same.
Yeah, I also have a thread out as well, which we can even share. Let's see, is that even? Yeah, it is the right wallet. Looks like it might be possible. It could be a MetaMask issue. What's happening?
It's definitely saying it right here. So if I go in here and I type in 5, 1, oops, sorry, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, there you go.
Right now it's gonna let me.
There you go. Then hit continue.
Okay,
Yep. So this is just a basic process on how to vault something.
Yeah.
So once it's done pending, then you'll just go down and hit the refresh button. We actually are in process of building something that's called a bulk mint tool, where this process is actually much more simplified. It's all on one screen, takes about 3 clicks to do anything, and you can mint up to 25 vaults in a single transaction. Our front end dev is still in the process. I've put some teasers out about it, and hopefully once that's live, that will simplify it, because once we launch our vaulting program, the points program, in Q1 next year, we want people to mint as many vaults as possible and to basically simplify the process, make it very, very easy.
Yeah. So what's the next step here? Do I just go to vaults?
No, you just check to see if on MetaMask if the transaction is cleared.
Yeah, it's clear. Set confirmed.
Cool. So then scroll down, and then just hit the refresh button. It's across from balances, non-balances. You could do it like that, I guess.
Oh, I could have hit down there. Okay.
There's literally, there's a refresh button inside. See?
All right.
So then that pops up. That shows that there is now a balance of 500,000. It should say Koval. It says ETH at the bottom. It should say Koval.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. You're rich now. Now scroll up to the top, and there will be a mint button. Yep. See, it says you see phrase mint. Yep. And then you just mint the vault. And so there will be 2 transactions. One is generally a GASA signature, which is the first one that's requesting our servers to mint the vault. And then you'll have a gas transaction. And so yeah, you hit confirm there. And now it says that your vault is minting. And there's no vaulting fee, so we haven't put any vaulting fees on this because we're aware that users. Oh, I see on my screen that you have in fact minted the vault. So
nice.
Yeah, see, it says loading has successfully minted. So once that's done, the screen will close out, and then you can just hit refresh, and you'll see that
down here again.
Now you can just refresh the screen.
Okay.
I do see from my end in our Discord, it shows that all the vaults have been minted. So I do see that it has been minted. See, and so now you see that where it says marketplaces and loans and stuff, that shows that it's been minted. We do have to fix those links again. I do apologize for being half kind of broken, but if you go to OpenSea and type in Koval time locks, or even if you go to your or even if you go to your wallet, you'll see it there. So Koval just COVAL.
Koval. AL.
Yeah, AL. And then time lock. It should be like one of the first ones to come up. COVAL.
COV. Exactly.
AL.
COVAL.
Okay. See, it's the first one right there.
Time locks. There it is. Yep.
And so you'll see all of them. Again, we still have to add traits and change the images and stuff. We do have 3 different images for the different representations. If for some people, sometimes you have to refresh on OpenSea, the metadata. Because Emblem Vault is such a unique product, sometimes the way that Emblem Vault interacts with OpenSea has refreshing issues. So sometimes you actually have to go in on the actual asset page and refresh. But it looks good, and you can see there is 415 vaults that have been minted, and there's about 45 owners, it looks like. And I suspect that this will increase slowly over time, and then probably, once you get into Q2, Q3 of next year, this should increase quite dramatically. If not, then whoever participates in this is going to receive a pretty sizable airdrop. So we've allocated 15% of the total key supply, so 1.5 billion keys, to the people who participate in this program, right? So if you only have 45 people participating with 15%, then right, they're going to get probably a few percentages, few you know, basis points each. But you know, we'll see here. The cool part now is that since you have that NFT, whenever you go mint any other vault, the discount's already automatically applied. So it'll be $8 vaulting fee for anybody. This will be for anybody who wants to mint any vault. So as we expand to things like Merlin, right, or Base, or wherever it is, to Solana, you can then, it'll be $8 per vault. And then that will actually apply to our vaulting program, which we're going to launch towards the end of Q1, where users will, you know, earn points to participate in jumping to other chains, right, or doing whatever type of partnerships are enabled, or, you know, trading on Emblem markets and etc. And one of the interesting game theory here, which, you know, we'll see if it's actually played in the co-vault time locks. I think in the founder vaults it'll be more, is that, you know, as we airdrop keys into these vaults, I'm interested to see if the vaults, the co-vault vaults, trade on the open market, right? The game theory here is that, you know, as Emblem expands and applies more value to, you know, what the potentials of keys can become, and we reveal, you know, later next year what are some utility that we want to use keys for, right, then the value of keys increase, which therefore then more people will want to participate in the migration, which then therefore means that since there's co-vault taken off the market, that the value of co-vault should increase, right? And so you could kind of see this like positive flywheel. But again, it's something that, you know, you can only speculate on an outcome, which we would hope to see that happen. And in real time, you know, it's kind of still far away, you know, 10 months or so to really like receive the keys. But we suspect over time, some point next year, that something like that could come into effect.
Yeah, I want to break down what just kind of happened here with this. So where can I go buy co-vault? Is it Uniswap?
Uniswap. You can buy it on Uniswap right now.
So I take Ethereum, 1,000 worth of Ethereum, lock or what's the smallest amount?
5,000.
5,000. Okay, so I take enough to get the 5,000. Let's just say I do exactly what we just did here. I lock it in the co-vault vault. I get that minted out to me, and I can see that in my wallet, and I can see that on OpenSea. And then I'm getting airdropped these emblem keys, right? That are all also vaulted, correct?
Yeah, it'll be airdropped in the vault. So inside of that vault, you know how you copy that ETH address in there? So if you scroll down, there's an ETH address. There's actually a Bitcoin deposit address in there. We just haven't shown it yet because there are, you know, manipulators and people who will airdrop things into vaults trying to trick users that there's an asset inside to get them to unlock the vault. And then they'll kind of like DM them on the side to get them to share the private keys. Like we've seen all kinds of different ways that scammers will try to manipulate people. So for the time being, the Bitcoin wallet is actually just not shown. It is inside of the vault, but we just put that there just to cause less or to substantiate some of the confusion while people earn. But there's actually multiple wallet addresses inside these vaults.
Awesome.
And so we'll basically, to explain it, we'll just airdrop all of the, once we close off co-vault minting towards the end of summer next year, we will then do the calculation of how many, what vaults receives what adequate amount of Bitcoin keys. And then we'll just airdrop them into the vault so that when you unlock the vault, you'll have the co-vault there, but we're going to be sunsetting it. But then you'll also have Bitcoin keys that'll be tied to a seed phrase, which then you just import it to whatever wallet that you'd like. And, you know, it'll be said and done. Actually, this is, we're actually kind of building right now, and hopeful that this can be implemented, a PSBT implementation to where you could basically just sweep the keys into a wallet address without even having to import the private key. So right now it is quite tedious, right? Where you have, you know, if you have 50 vaults, you have 50 different private keys that you have to basically import. But if we have this PSBT feature enabled, which maybe we'll talk about here in a second, you could basically just send it directly to an Xverse wallet and not have to deal with that process, which that's part of the Emblem 2.0 system. And these Cobalt time lock vaults are actually the first 2.0 vaults using lit protocol. So what you use actually is lit protocol.
Oh wow, awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's say that I want to vault a puppet from Bitcoin to Merlin later down the road. Would the process be similar to what we just went through?
Yep. Yeah. Same exact process. Should be quite simple. And the goal is to have the PSBT feature enabled so that you don't have to actually wait on, the 6 confirmations. This is like for counterparty right now. Since there's no PSBTs in counterparty assets, when you send something to a vault, you actually have to wait the 6 confirmations. Which could, which could be 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever the case is. But once we have this PSBT feature enabled, it would be just like sending a Bitcoin puppet to any wallet to where it displays pretty much immediately.
Will you guys have something here eventually too? Because like sending it to that wallet is always scary. It's making sure you have the same wallet address. Will you guys have something where I can click it, pick my puppet, and then send?
Yeah.
That's something you guys may be working on? Okay.
Yeah. We call it the bulk minting interface. It's actually more of like a simple mint interface. That's what we're working on. So Bunzy is actually our front end developer, which a lot of people are familiar with, and he's done a lot of good work in the space. And once we have this interface live, we're going to be adding a lot more. I guess you could say animations and kind of action items on the space to show loading and like that things have been received, safely and, check boxes and different things like that. It is pretty close to being done. We had a call with him last week, and so we're reconvening next week. Hopefully to have that live. The goal was to have it live by the end of the year. Unfortunately, with development, sometimes it doesn't, land the way that you want to, but the goal is to have it literally out as soon as possible so that this will be even more of a simple process.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think a lot of people are excited about this, but so when I mint or vault my puppet, let's just say as of right now, the standard process would be 6 blocks on the 6 Bitcoin blocks.
No, 6 confirmations. So sometimes could be standard Bitcoin transaction is 6 confirmations. Those confirmations could come all in one block, or those confirmations could come in separate blocks.
Gotcha. So 6 confirmations. And then at that point, let's say I want to send it over to Merlin, it would only take 1 gas fee on the Merlin side, right?
Yeah. So you're paying the gas fee to what chain you're minting to.
Gotcha.
So if you're minting to Solana, you're paying the Solana fee. If you're minting to Merlin, you're paying the Merlin gas fee. One of our goals is to get the majority of vaulting activity to these L2s or to Solana, to these like low gas environments, because right now, I would say probably 80 to 90% of our vault activity are mostly rare Pepe participants. But I don't know if people are aware of this, but through rare Pepe alone, Emblem has minted 75 millionaires. And then on top of that, there's, I think, over 300 wallets that have made over 6 figures using Emblem Vaults. And the majority of those are rare Pepe people. So these are generally individuals who've made, an absorbent amount of money. So they can pay, $8. Now it's $8 for a vaulting fee plus $20 gas fees because they've been around it for a long time. But for the majority of people who are just entering the Emblem ecosystem, this is not the case where they've been around for many years making, a lot of money. So the goal is to get these to these low gas environments so that people can participate in moving these assets cross chain, also to the ecosystem that they want, whether they want to, farm their puppet on Blast, right? Or if they want to, lend against it on Merlin, or if they want to take it to Solana for, AI kind of, interactions or whatever kind of the yield opportunity is that they envision. So that's really the goal.
That's awesome. I think there's going to be a lot of use for this, once you guys allow the minting, once it goes live and stuff, because, first of all, the rare Pepe aspect of it, this is going to bring more introduction to that whole collection and asset class, really, with counterparty stuff. And like, my question is, like, why isn't counterparty assets like rare Pepe like on Magic Eden? Like, why is it not like mass adopted? I know it's on OpenSea, but why do you think it's not like the popular, like Ordinals is kind of mass adopted on more than rare Pepes, but they've been out for way longer.
Yeah, counterparty, right? Counterparty is kind of the first meta protocol or second meta protocol on Bitcoin. You had Mastercoin, or maybe third. I guess you had colored coins in 2012, then you had Mastercoin in 2013, and then you had Counterparty in 2014. And the original developers of Counterparty left after a year of development, and they just actually returned recently. And they got some funding and things like that. And a recent Counterparty update that they just pushed is enabling PSBTs, where you essentially take the counterparty token and you can attach it to a PSBT, because a counterparty is more of like an account-based system than it is a UTXO system. So think of it kind of like a BRC20 type system. There's no transfer inscription stuff, but just think of it that way. So because you have an account model, you can take the token itself and attach it to something else underneath. And for a while, people are using Emblem Vault, right? Essentially, you're just taking the counterparty token and attaching it to a wallet. I'm just simplifying the explanation here. But now with these new upgrades, you can attach it to a PSBT. What we're seeing, though, is that even with this new update, the vault activity is actually increased rather than decreased from the ability to trade these natively. And I think it has to do with a few reasons. One is that the liquidity profile on Ethereum is just much higher than, trading these natively. Also, with counterparty assets and also ordinals, when you're trading inside of a vault, there's no chance to be front run, right? Because the UTXO is not in the mempool. What you're trading is a private key on the other chain. So you eliminate the possibility to be sniped. And I think a lot of people like that. And then just simple kind of infrastructure where there's no kind of bidding system that exists for Bitcoin native assets right now. I mean, you have it for ordinals, but it's not to the degree that you'll have of rare Pepe, because they're semi-fungible tokens, right? So you can't just throw out one universal bid for 1,774 unique assets, or in this case, 1,669 that have been vaulted across 25,000, unique assets there. And what I've learned and what we've seen is that the market behavior has chosen that Emblem Vault is going to be the way moving forward. And so you'll get probably some high value assets that move natively. And we actually encourage, people to trade whichever way you find more preferable for whatever the reason is. But it's going to be really hard that people have been vaulting, rare Pepes for 3 years at this point to really kind of change that behavior. So the goal is to just expand rare Pepe to as many chains as possible, so that users can, leverage MemeFi, which has kind of been in the talks of the rare Pepe community for a long time, and seeing, really kind of growing that out, because rare Pepe it's generally somewhere around the third or fourth most valuable NFT collection. If you go to pepe.wtf, at the very top of that website, it'll tell you the market cap of rare Pepe, and it generally is somewhere between 300 million and 500 million continuously. And so with a collection that large of 1,774 unique cards times by, and click on rare Pepe right next to top left.
Right.
Yeah, just click there. Okay. And then right at the top, you'll see there's the last sale market cap, and then you have the floor valuation. The last sale market cap is generally is closer to what the real market cap is.
$460 million?
Yeah.
Wow. That's
and
insane.
And then the floor valuation. So there's 1,774 unique cards, but each card has a different supply. So you can even evaluate it by the market cap, if you see there on the charts. So like, for example, Emblem Vault, the most valuable, not the most valuable, but the most known one is the Nakamoto card, right? That's the first card. It's a 300 supply, and the most recent sale was for I'm equating it to Bitcoin. It was about 2.1 Bitcoin. It was like 55 ETH sale. So they're selling for, a little over 200,000, and Emblem has almost 100 of them vaulted. So that's like 20 million in TVL just from, this one NFT within the entire collection. So, Rare Pepe community and Emblem Vault have this synonymous relationship. Emblem Vault and Rare Pepe, I could say pretty confidently, would not be both where they are today without each other. And it was at a time where, Emblem found product market fit through Rare Pepe, and then Rare Pepe found awareness and expansion through Emblem Vault. And, the number for Emblem is, and this is somewhat why why some people may find keys attractive, is the number for Emblem is we have an almost 90% retention rate for vaulted assets.
Wow.
So it means 9 in 10 assets that make it into Emblem never leave the ecosystem. So you could say that if the TVL continues to grow, right, this is something that basically is somewhat of like a black hole. And as that TVL grows, right, it's going to then expand to new chains as we deploy on, additional ones. And so I find it highly unlikely. It's always possible that you could have this like kind of bank run system happen where people run to, remove Rare Pepes to, hold them natively, which we encourage. But the community has shown that they trust Emblem Vault, and that it's going to load there in a second. It just takes a second to load.
Well, I'd argue. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, good.
I was gonna say I'd argue that like use the same blueprint for ordinals to give more exposure, to other chains, especially if this is going to be 2025 is going to be like the blueprint year of Emblem, branding on all these chains. It solves the issue of exposure with the limitations of Bitcoin, right? So
Yep. We're so maybe a little alpha. So we're in conversations we've announced that we're in the Merlin grant program and the Arbitrum one, and we have about 3 or 4 other ones that we haven't announced yet because we're forming around co-marketing strategies and incentive systems. And there's a few of these L2s that are across Ethereum and Bitcoin are very interested in bringing ordinals to their ecosystem, like very, very interested. And so what I suspect is if Emblem can execute properly on our vision, you're going to see eventually some sort of like incentivization war happen where a lot of these different L2s are then competing, for your ordinals or for your Bitcoin assets, for your CryptoPunks, etc. Because it is so simple to literally just one click move this asset from Merlin, to Base, to Ape Chain, to Abstract, to Azuki chain, I think it's called the Anime chain, to whatever it is. And the way that they're going to compete with that is that they're going to have to offer lower rates, right? So they're going to have to offer lower marketplace fees, because why would I trade on, Ape chain if the marketplace fee is 2% when I could go trade on, Optimism for 0% because they have a marketplace, right? Or, right. And then why would I keep my Bitcoin puppet on blast when the farming, opportunity has dissipated, and now there's a new farming opportunity on Abstract, right? Or Merlin, or whatever chain or Solana, or right, whatever it is. Or if I want to lend, why would I lend, natively on Bitcoin when, there's 10 times the liquidity profile on, Arcade or Gandhi, which is where a lot of the Rare Pepes have now moved to, is a website called Gandhi to lend against. So it's really kind of exciting to think about, what can happen once this infrastructure is really built out. And I'd say we're probably about a month and a half away from having the new EVM system completely built out and deployed. And we have 2 launch partners that, maybe 3 launch partners that will be the first ones through the door. But once we have this EVM system laid out and built, then it takes us probably about, an hour to deploy to a new EVM chain, which makes it very simple. So it's more just plug and play at that point. And then I'd say in quarter 2 and quarter 3, the goal is to, then start deploying on Solana, which we've built, and then figuring out how to deploy on Bitcoin, which we have about a rudimentary kind of 25% of that built out, to then see, is there even a market to bring things like CryptoPunks to Bitcoin, right? Or to bring your Bitcoin puppets to Dogecoin as a Doginal, right? Or to bring your tap assets to Fractal for, XYZ reason, right? Or to bring your ordinals to tap, right? Like that's kind of a under, I guess less spoken kind of opportunity there. And there's like a few other teams that are trying to accomplish something like this as well. And I just think it's a really exciting time to, be in the Emblem ecosystem and to kind of participate. And that keys are kind of really going to be the center of it, especially as now we have this kind of emerging product with Emblem AI that is starting to catch a lot of interest as well.
Yeah. I don't think many people know either that you guys even had a marketplace over here. I mean, I knew, but like this is 2016 and 2018. Like this is crazy. These rare Pepes over here, and they're purchasable right through Emblem.market. This is like CryptoKitty. This is punk level, like earliness.
Yeah. So they're Rare Pepe is known as the collection that created the crypto art movement. There's only one collection that predates it, which is called Spells of Genesis, which we also have there as well. That's like our generally second best performing kind of collection. And Rare Pepe, it's 1,774 different cards from over 300 different artists, and then all of them have of different supplies. And Spells of Genesis came out in 2015.
Wow.
Created about, so this one is 2015 to 2019, and it was a trading card game on Counterparty created by a company called Eversoft Dream, I believe the name is, by a guy named Shaban. And so you use these cards. It was a trading card game. And the cool thing is that a lot of these cards actually signify different moment in time. Like you'll see there's like an ETH card, and there's like a DAO card. I think there's like a Dash card, Ripple card, right? Saratobi card. So there's a lot of like cool moments that have been kind of mystified. The Kraken card, right? That's from like the Kraken exchange.
Yeah.
Dogecoin, the bear whale. I don't know if people know that story, where I think it was around the Mt. Gox time. There was a bear whale who kept pushing the price down like really hard. This is like where it's like a pretty cool kind of story.
That is really dope. I like it.
The Spells of Genesis actually has a pretty devout community. The two cards that sell the highest are the FD card, which is the first card, and then the Satoshi card, which is actually Leonidas's profile picture. He has a crypto skull over it, but the Satoshi card. So if you sort by highest, you'll see the Spells of Genesis card. Actually, it's even in the profile picture, right? That's Leonidas's kind of back, right?
He put the skull,
He put the skull in it. Yeah, so the
Does
FD
Leonidas own that?
He did. He sold a bunch of them recently.
Gotcha.
He might have more, but again, me and Leo came from the historical NFT community. We used to host a podcast together and stuff. So the FD card is the first Spells of Genesis card. So a lot of people buy that just because they consider it the first NFT of the first ever collection. And then there's a Satoshi card, but it doesn't look like one is listed right now, or else it would be up there.
Well, so all this talk about these like Counterparty, these are the first NFT collections and stuff in existence. It kind of goes back to this question that I asked you. Well, actually, I don't even know if it was a question, but a bit of historic information that you gave me was that, Counterparty tokens were listed on centralized exchanges. I think you told me that, and then they had to get delisted, or they delisted them for some reason. And so it brings me to this question, and actually the topic of our show today. I wanted your input. Are Ordinals and Runes dead? Because let's be honest, like without the rare Pepes continued on, but like those Counterparty tokens kind of seem like they died off. There's Pepe Cash and stuff still, but like, what is your answer? What's different this time than that movement before, and why should people think that Ordinals and Runes will only grow instead of go away?
It's a good question. I think a lot of it is, time and place. We see this happen time and time again of the right idea, but it's too early for the adoption, or the developer ecosystem doesn't grow around it. And that's generally how how I identify protocols, is to see how active the developer ecosystem is. Because at the end of the day, if there's no developers, then there's nothing that's going to be built, which therefore there's no speculation, right? And kind of dwindles away. And that's what exactly happened to Counterparty. It was first, it had a big community, but the developers abandoned it, a year into it. And so from that point on, there was no updates to the protocol. Even outside of having to overcome that, the Rare Pepe community, built this decentralized art movement. But the reason why is because they couldn't do anything else, right? All you could do is do art because there was no developments that were happening to it. And so this time around now, obviously the crypto market is so much larger compared to, where it was at that time. And with the runes, if you look at kind of runes, BRC20 and TAP, I have this post that I put out a few months ago, but I look at the fungible token ecosystems and NFTs as like something that's considered to be horizontally owned or vertically owned. And what I mean by that is, is the application layer decentralized? Is it a bunch of builders, or is it one kind of central entity that's controlling it? And again, so I'll lay some examples out here, and it's not to shoot anyone down. It's just from kind of my observations. And this is what led us to, choosing runes as our fungible token standard. When you look at something like TAP, right? Or when you look at something like BRC20, TAP is basically controlled by the track team, right? It's vertically owned, where they're basically the one that's developing the protocol. They're the one that's incentivizing the builders to come in and build applications using the protocol, right? Whether they're getting tokens or they're getting co-marketing support or whatever the case is. It's the same thing with BRC20. That's basically it started out decentralized and started out in this like kind of horizontal kind of horizontally owned protocol where, the application layer is decentralized. There was no incentives for anybody outside of the kind of competitive force of the opportunity, finding product market fit there. And so like with BRC20 started out horizontally owned, now it's vertically owned because Unisat basically comes out and, basically says what's going to happen to the protocol. Although I do think Best and Slot's trying to build their own BRC20 or BRC20 2.0, which I think is a separate protocol from what from what Unisat is building. I don't know for sure. It's still kind of hazy. But with BRC20, right, Unisat came out and they built Fractal, and now BRC20 is basically trade on Fractal, but Fractal is the one who incentivizes the application layer, right, for people to build. And it's kind of, it's open source, but it is a little bit gated socially. Whereas something like Runes, Casey came in and he basically built the code, deployed it, hasn't made any changes to it, and hasn't really like shown favoritism towards one protocol or another. Like he comments on Runes every once in a while, but it's more of like Wild West, where it really feels like more of like a free market capitalistic kind of environment to where anyone could come in and the best product will win. And it's not generally just a favoritism that could kind of happen there. And so this is why this is why we believe at Emblem that Runes is going to be the kind of winning standard. Maybe they don't capture all of the fungible market, but, maybe 80% of it or so. And it's because Magic Eden's still building on it, right? You have Arch, who's now kind of, and their protocols have now begun to build on it. And, you have the lending protocols, and then whatever else is kind of to be determined, where, you have a million people that are a million different wallets that own all of these runes. And it's then importing that value into these different protocols versus having to build a completely new protocol or building a new protocol with a new token standard that nobody wants to use, right? They've already basically, packed their bags and they've formed communities. And the network effect of, horizontally owned protocols, it takes a little bit longer for the application layer to develop, but the social layer of it hardens really fast to where, once you have all these people who've chosen that these are their assets, then they want to go do something else, versus the other way around, where it's like, hey, we have all these places that you can use these assets, but nobody owns them, right? And so for my belief is that, and our belief at Emblem is that Runes is going to win out. It could take a lot longer to develop, but it's on Bitcoin. You have these kind of long block times, and then you have this more of this free market capitalistic kind of application layer that also has to play itself forward competitively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that the reason why Coinbase and Binance and some of these other centralized exchanges, well, Binance listed BRC20, but let's say Coinbase, they would maybe be more hesitant because they went through the counterparty token experience and they want more like conviction before they list? Or what would you think would hold them back?
I don't think counterparty, like the experience with counterparty, holds them back, but I do think that they probably want more market adoption before they do go ahead and lift it, because for like Coinbase, for example, they just added Taproot. They did this 2 years after Taproot, or maybe maybe it was even 4 years. I don't remember. It's 2022
Yeah,
or
it was November 2020.
2020. So it took them almost 4 years to do that. But you have to think they have millions, if not tens of millions or hundreds of millions of Bitcoin wallets that they have to then, add this new layer of technology to it, and then building things on top of that. It just takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
That's why these like smaller centralized exchanges are quick to do it.
Yeah.
I do think that they're all going to end up adopting Runes. It'll probably all happen in 25 at some point. It'll take, Kraken to come in and list, and then Binance or whoever it is. And then you'll have kind of a runaway effect there. There's no doubt in my mind that they will list them. It just comes down to more of the lift required to build these. And you also have to think that they have a credibility and standard. And if they lose people's assets, right, that's a big hit on them. And they just sometimes need a lot more clarity, or they're comfortable being kind of a late stage mover in this environment, because they do feel that they have enough credibility that even if they do come later stage, that they can command a certain percentage of the market.
Yeah. Before Binance listed Ordi and Sats, I think they created their own indexer. I think OKX created their own indexer as well. That's why they're able to trade on their marketplace, outside of the exchange. Do you think Kraken is sitting there creating their own Runes indexer instead of going off of Ord.io? I'm sorry, well, Ordinals.com.
It's very possible. Somebody with Kraken, where they're known for their security, they probably have to make sure that they have backups. And I'm sure Coinbase is probably doing the same thing. I mean, they can rely on it. It depends on their relationship, and then just the employees or whoever is kind of running the show, to kind of see what their experience level is and the relationships that they form. But I would be surprised if they were not running their own, just because they have that. Once you get higher up into these kind of levels, the security has to be just completely unmatched, top notch. Yeah. You also have Kraken that's building their own L2, so who knows if there's something that they're relating, or something. I think it's called Inc. So who knows if there's some relationship there as well.
Quick question about Emma markets real quick. In the future, when you guys have your people vault puppets, they vault all kinds of crazy stuff. Who knows what can get vaulted? Pretty much anything, right? Will I be able to come here to collections and actually see what is vaulted and just buy here? And then my second question would be, can I, like, if I buy here and it's on ETH, let's just say the puppet's on ETH, can I buy it and then immediately send it to Merlin?
Yep. Yeah. So a few kind of points here. It's actually a really good question. So we launched Emblem Markets in July of this year. It's been a very interesting, learning experience launching your own marketplace. First, from the technology level of what it takes to actually, support it, right? How does the backend kind of work? How does Seaport work, right? What the API is required for certain things. So for a small team of 5 at the time, it was a big lift, but it was important for us to do this, because one issue we ran into is, we have 60 something different collections. Instead of pointing people to individual collections on On OpenSea, we could basically use this as to say, hey, here's all the collections. So Emblem Markets is an aggregator, so it picks up all the sales that are listed on OpenSea, Magic Eden, etc. Although, although we have 0% marketplace fee, so you can list any rare Pepe or whatever on there and pay no fees, the majority, 99% of the trading still happens on OpenSea. And this just purely comes down to, a market behavior kind of idea. And what I've learned is even if you're offering 0% fees, people are going to trade wherever they feel most comfortable. Yeah. So we have to do a lot of upgrades here. And the goal is, as we expand, and have success next year, you can hire more people to literally dedicate somebody just to the marketplace. Basically how it works is if we list on Merlin or wherever it is, we've built a pretty tight relationship with Reservoir, who is basically they're like the main EVM marketplace SDK that people use to build their marketplaces. As long as Merlin provides the data to them, then we can showcase for Merlin. So there has to be that relationship bonded first. They do support, I think, like 20 or 15 different L2s. So for us, once we add that collection, so like let's say Rare Pepe on Merlin, you'll be able to come see it, and it can either pop up as its own collection as the Merlin kind of collection, or our goal is really to kind of fold it all in together to where this one Rare Pepe collection shows vaults for Rare Pepe on Merlin, Rare Pepe on Solana, Rare Pepe on ETH. That's actually a very large technical lift that's never been done, but we do believe that we have a path forward to build that. It just comes down to kind of a resources thing. It's one of these things where it's like, I wish I had, $50 million in VC funding to do that, right? Or I was a little bit further down the road to where I had 3 more developers on the team. But we do have that kind of capability path forward. Shannon's kind of added an outline, as well as with the Emblem 2.0 vault, we have the ability to be able to purchase in any type of asset as well. So you'll see, like for example, you'll see, the Pepe card, and then you'll click on it and it'll show, 5 Pepe vaults, or 5 of these, the Pepe are on Solana, 5 of these are on Merlin, 5 of these are on whatever. And then it'll probably be denominated in USD. And then you'll just click on it and say, I want to pay in Solana, or I want to pay in Bitcoin, or I want to pay in
I love it.
Kind of whatever. And then the cool part there is right after you purchase it, the goal would be then for it to say, hey, do you want this vault? This vault is on Solana. Do you want it to be delivered to Ethereum, or delivered to Merlin, or delivered to Fractal, or kind of whatever the situation is? That's the kind of the goal, is to be what we call a chain agnostic marketplace, where something like Magic Eden, and this is no discredit to them, this is just kind of what we see. It's individual native experiences, right? They have a marketplace for base, for ordinals, etc. We just want one simple interface where one collection has all of the different type of vaults from all these different types of collections that can be purchasable in one or whichever cryptocurrency that you want. It's going to take a little while to get there, but this with Emblem Markets is really kind of just the start to where we'd like it to be.
Yeah, I mean, you guys could be the ultimate aggregator, chain agnostic. Just head down here, it'll be like Merlin, and then it will say, Ethereum, and then it will say Base or whatever. You guys could be that. That could be pretty nice.
And also, I wanted to say that, like, being able to offer just, actually, my marketing psychology mind says I would want to market this as, hey, look, these live on Merlin as a vault, but this is original Pepe actual item, right? So I definitely lean more towards the latter. You said for the options, but I know that's a heavier lift. But I think in the end, it'll probably be worth it.
Yeah, that's completely our goal here. It's right now, it just comes down to kind of a resources thing. So quarter 3 focused everything on Emblem Markets. And then this quarter, it was all on Emblem Vision. And then the Emblem AI product has started to gain some traction. So we've put some attention there. We're in the, right, we have two developers, one backend developer, and then Bunzy's doing our front end. Right, the goal is to get them to be full-time, and then to hopefully hire another developer too next year, pending successful sales of founder vaults, or the vaulting program is very successful because people want to participate and you start generating more kind of fee revenue. But to me, kind of the reason I was so bullish on Emblem when I joined two years ago was that it reminded me of the great disruptor, or is kind of the great bundler, to where the technology itself is what you consider to be a token abstraction layer, where kind of what these L2s are trying to be is called a chain abstraction, right? To where the idea is that it doesn't matter, what chain you're kind of interacting with. They try to abstract all that away. What Emblem does is it doesn't matter what blockchain the token's from. You can just have it on any chain, right? So there's really no other token abstraction layers products that I'm aware of that exists. It kind of just is a one-of-one product. I'm assuming more will come, but I've also been saying that for 2 years and haven't seen any signs yet. So with the token abstraction layer, you could kind of be the great disruptor and bundle kind of everything together to where, you have this chain agnostic marketplace where you can have any NFT live on any asset, purchasable in any type of cryptocurrency. And then you kind of have this NFT layer to where you can move these assets to any chain to then interact with any application that exists on that blockchain. And then on top of that, we call Emblem AI the kind of intelligence layer, to where there's two products. There's Emblem AI, the wallet, to where you can give AI agents this ability to trade on any type of chain. But we'd also like to have a built-in LLM to Emblem Markets and Emblem Vision. That's what we're going to try to use Emblem or Agent Hustle for, the Tensorium project, to where you could just type into the LLM box, hey, I want to move Pepe to Merlin. Can you just do it for me? Kind of thing, right? So that would be like the ultimate kind of abstraction, to where you just type into almost like a Clippy kind of experience. Like, you remember that from back in the in the day with the
the word program.
Word. Yeah. So it would, something like that with Agent Hustle from the Tensorium project we'd like to do. You just type in the box and say, hey, move my 3 puppets in this wallet to Blast or whatever, and then it can be done quite quickly. So that's kind of what we're trying to build out with Emblem AI on kind of multiple levels. So the way that I see it is, this will be kind of like the end point here. I put this post out the other day. You have Emblem Vault, which is, if you think about it as a pyramid, you have like Emblem Vault, which is the bottom, the kind of technology layer. And then on top of that, you have Emblem Keys, right? And that's kind of the tokenomics token layer. And then on top of that, you have Emblem AI and the agent, which is kind of the intelligence layer. And if you can nail this pyramid down to where they all reinforce each other, is going to be very tough product to defeat, just because of you have the adoption initially of rare Pepe, right, which is a large collection. And you have this kind of idea that 90% of assets that enter the ecosystem don't leave. And then you have the tokenomics layer with like the incentives, and the token is used to decentralize the protocol. And then you have kind of the AI layer, to where then users don't even have to do any of this process. You can kind of just type in what you need to do. We believe that that's kind of a winning formula. Maybe that happens towards the end of 2025 or even extends into 2026. But we feel pretty confident that as long as, the expansion campaign goes well over the next 6 months or so, I think the value of keys will reflect that, which then, gives us funding to do that, and then continues kind of along this trajectory to becoming basically the interoperability layer of the crypto ecosystem, not just for NFTs.
Yeah. Shizzy, so would you utilize that for the bridging
Yes.
portion? Okay.
Well,
so there we go. We
yes
found
and no. Well, hold on. So for me, I would need to do a lot of testing, right? Like I would first bridge a Billy Cat to Merlin, using the AI agent, right, and do that multiple times. I'd be so worried that the AI agent makes some type of blunder or something, to where I would need, probably 3 months of proof before I had it bridge over a puppet, right? Because something of that, something of that value. Have you guys noticed anything, maybe from other AI agents or anything, where things have gone wrong from using some type of MLM system?
I think like the AI agent space is still so new that people are still really experimenting.
Yeah.
Right. One of the ideas that we want to try out with our wallets is, giving the agent, funds to then, transact on its own kind of accord based off of the data that it's fed and how it's trained. One thing that Shannon's building with Agent Hustle and the Tensorium project is this idea of memory, which I don't think any of these AI agents have that I've seen. Truth Terminal doesn't possess this yet.
Yeah.
Zerbro doesn't have this. I don't think many do. And so when we roll Agent Hustle out here, hopefully by the end of the year, maybe first week of January.
It's like 4 days away.
Yeah, I mean, Shannon's been cruising on this, and he's been, again, we're kind of really blessed to have him. We're kind of blessed to have him, who's been building in the AI space for 10 years at this point. So he's constructed this memory in the back end to where when we roll it out, it's going to be on Telegram, to where users can have a private conversation with Agent Hustle, and then he will actually remember the things that you tell him, so that when you have a private conversation the next time around, he still remembers that information. So the idea here is that if this works, whenever you do something that's called an OAuth, so if you sign into Emblem Markets or Emblem Vision with your wallet, he ties all those memories to that wallet. So then he therefore knows everything in your wallet, and then can also then make suggestions on your behalf of like, hey, if you vault this Bitcoin puppet to Solana, there's a resting offer there for a Bitcoin puppet, which has a 10% premium to the resting offer on Ethereum or something like that. So you can start to, have these kind of like this like yield aggregation or optimization, so to speak. So we're all gonna.
Is he going to end every sentence with "not financial advice"?
Right. It is something to consider. So the cool part is, like, with the Tensorium project, it's really a lot of its experimentation to see what can be done. There's obviously a token that's associated with it because it's built off of that trend. But the goal would be to then fold that agent itself into the Emblem products to then make it as simple. Right now, it's to be determined. I hope, by this point in the summer, we'll have a little bit more clarity on how far the capabilities are for us. And then also with the industry itself, the AI agent industry now at a $10 billion market cap, it's pushing really fast because people are really antsy to figure out, what can be done and what can't be done. And we're excited to actually partner with like Butoshi to use our Bitcoin wallets to see kind of how the AI agent interacts with Bitcoin as well. Should be really interesting.
Yeah. That's awesome. You got a community member in here. Memetic X says vaulting and unvaulting can be stressful the first couple of times, but once you get used to it, it's easy peasy. And he's vaulted 30 rare and fake rare cards back to BTC. And the last thing he says is, don't work too fast on the AI. He needs more time to fill his bags before you make it that easy for Dormy. So he's obviously experienced with you guys. So that's awesome. Appreciate your comments there, Memetic.
Yeah, Memetic X is a very devout Rare Pepe community member who's gone back and forth. And it is terrifying. We are actually kind of pretty aware of that, right? Just this idea of seed phrases and private keys really, terrifies people who aren't familiar with the process. Realistically, how I just see it is if you just replace the word private keys or seed phrase with password, it's actually not that. It doesn't make it sound as scary, right? It's just like, oh, you gave me the password to this account, right? Like that doesn't sound as terrifying. It's just like the hexadecimals and the strings. So we are kind of working on that. There's some Emblem 2.0. There's some Emblem 2.0 features that Shannon has suggested that we could build once the time comes to basically even abstract that layer away. Again, it all just comes down to kind of like a resources thing, but it could not be more exciting. Emblem Vault's actually never lost. I say this very confidently. There's never been a lost asset that's in terms of, you got the wrong private key or, like it got swiped away or something like that. That's never happened. Emblem's never had a security breach before. Shannon was a security developer to begin, right? He was a security developer at Mastercoin in 2013 or 2012 and 2013. So we do have it locked down pretty tight. We have an audit that we're getting with Halborn that's kind of still in the process. And yeah, there's always there are bugs and things like that. We generally have more front end bugs than we do kind of back end bugs. The large majority of it is front end bugs. But once you get, as Mathematic says, once you kind of get past the initial tear and you go through the process once or twice, is really quite simple. Like we went through the Koval time lock process. It took a minute or two to do that. And then unvaulting it, you literally just hit unvault. It gives you the seed phrase, and then you just take the seed phrase and import it into MetaMask, and you're done. So there's ways to simplify that even more, and through the UX for the most part. And yeah, we're working on it. That's definitely the goal.
Love it, love it, love it, man. I love when you come on the show with us. I learn so much every time you jump on, man. Whether it's historic NFTs or counterparty tokens existed at some point. I'm always picking something up. But it's kind of the end of the show here. So any last words, I guess, for the audience on maybe what to expect next for Emblem before I let you go, or before we let you go?
So the next piece of the expansion campaign will be the delivery of the Founder Vault. So what that means is we took 20% of the key supply and we put it across 1,000 time-locked vaults. And with these, we sold about 30% of that in kind of the private sale. And so those will be delivered here pretty shortly. And once that happens, that'll be something new to kind of experiment with and touch on. Essentially what we're doing is we're bringing, pre-sales or private sales basically on chain and in a transparent way. And so users, these keys will be locked until Bitcoin block 915,000, which I think is September 2025. These will be the only way that you can actually trade keys for the next 10 months, but you're trading them as an NFT on Ethereum. And this will be, I think, the best way to measure the value of keys, right? We're essentially also kind of taking on the private markets or the pre-sale markets, kind of like Whales Market and I forget these other ones, right? Where you could kind of trade the token before the airdrop. We're essentially, we're taking them on, we're taking the token investing, we're packaging it all into one NFT collection where you could trade these keys as NFTs for 10 months while they're or 9 months while they're locked up, and see where the value of that goes. And that will be our goal over the next 9 months or so, or I guess all through next year, is to, increase the value of those founder vaults, because that is basically the speculative way to, get a gauge on how the market is valuing these things. Because once that unlocks in September, that 20% will be the first 20% of keys to the market, to where you can actually trade that on chain. And then right after that, then you'll have the Koval time lock vaults unlock. So then you'll have 35% on the market after October of next year. And then in November, December, we'll be airdropping the remaining, 40% or so. So the goal would be by the end of next year, you're going to have 77% of the tokens trading in some way. And so we have different types of ideas about, how that'll go. But the founder vault will be kind of the crown jewel or the gem of this entire thing. And so it'd be an easy way to kind of purchase that. So the delivery of those should be here in the next week or two. We're getting to kind of the very end of putting that together. You can actually even see the collection on OpenSea if you just type in Founders Vault or Founder Vaults. I think it's Founder Vaults. The collection is there. The vaults haven't been delivered yet, but just to show that the collection exists with some of the art. We have Verdandi created the art for it. She's a 2017 female ETH NFT artist. She made some very awesome artwork. We have 5 different vaults of that type, of different elements. That'll represent the different rounds that people participated in, that people could trade on, and then maybe have some ordinals and things at the end that people can participate. I highly recommend looking her up. She's called the Verdandi. She actually just sold one for 2017 ETH NFTs for I think like 5 ETH or something like that in auction. So she's very, very popular in the historical NFT community, and we're very excited to work with her. And so once those are delivered, I'll probably come back on here and we'll talk about the game theory talk about the game theory behind it, you know, maybe even bring Verdandi on or something to kind of talk about it, and talk about that next level of what's happening here. That's what I'm most excited for, because then I can finally talk even more about some of the game theory and not just about, you know, what it could be, but actually talking about the market driven data that is being provided to us.
Yeah. So just to be clear for the audience, these founder vaults and the co-vault vaults, they're going to be tradable as NFTs on the Ethereum network through OpenSea from the end of this year till it's kind of like a pre-market of the emblem keys, which are actually runes, but you won't receive those unless you're a founder vault in September, and then the co-vault vaults in October. Then they'll become Bitcoin runes. Basically, before that, it's going to be a tradable market, kind of like this pre-sale market on Ethereum OpenSea, correct?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, you said it completely well.
Yeah.
And the cool part here is that, you know, like these kind of pre-markets where you're trading points or whatever, like you don't actually have the token, right? So many things could change. Whereas like with the co-vault time locks and with the founder vaults, they definitively have the token with them. It could be proven on chain. So you know how much is in here. It's not speculative. I mean, you could speculate on the value, but those tokens, those runes are there. And that if you purchase one vault, you know exactly how much is kind of in there, at least for the founder vaults. So yeah, really exciting, really brand new, that this kind of stuff has never happened before. And we have some participants who are really bullish on the idea of founder vaults, because they do think that this idea of bringing token vesting on chain and then tying that token vesting release schedule to a Bitcoin block, to them seems like a no-brainer, because now you're participating in the on-chain time economy. Some people use Bitcoin as kind of this universal clock versus like UTC.
Yeah.
And so being able to time a token release schedule to Bitcoin block is almost like tying it to like the grandfather clock. Like that's the universal time of the crypto industry. And so doing that in a provable way is exciting. Where the speculation goes, I think, is going to be determined, right? That's the risk that we're taking from the Emblem side. Is we have no idea how people are going to respond to this. You know, maybe it takes a while for it to catch traction. Maybe it catches traction immediately, right? Or maybe it's too confusing and people don't understand. You know, you guys were doing a good job of trying to explain all of that. And I do think once it clicks for some people, the simplification of it, a founder vault, I think is just the easier. It's a much easier narrative than the co-vault stuff. So if you don't own a co-vault and don't want to go through that process, I would say just pay attention to the founder vaults. That's really kind of the crown jewel of everything we're doing.
Yep. And for the 454 people listening in right now, you have to remember that on the side, like working simultaneously throughout like this pre-sale market, Emblem's going to be branding themselves on multiple Ethereum layer 2s, possibly, you know, obviously some Bitcoin layer 2s as well. So their name's going to be out there as the pre-market is going on next year, up until the, in a sense, TGE, I guess you could say, for September and October. TGE, So that's the strategy. To me, I think that's a strong strategy, because it will, you know, theoretically create that hype and you know, speculation during that time. So
yeah. And this is the coin of Hustle, right? So the Emblem Vault keys is an AI coin technically, because also Hustle is a part of what you guys.
Well, no, I think it's two separate.
So there's two tokens. I'll put it different. I'll kind of separate that real. So Hustle. So there's Agent Hustle, which is like the AI technology, and then you kind of have Tensorium, which is like the Tensorium project.
Oh, the Solana coin. Okay,
it's the Solana coin. It drives narrative and speculation to the agent itself. That's kind of like how this like AI space is working, right? It's kind of like with Cypher Genesis, you have the rune, and then you have kind of the agent. So you have the two separate things. And so with that space, it's now you have this like cool AI agent, and then it's how do you integrate the token within this overall project.
Gotcha.
With Emblem keys, though, I could tell you this is, you know, if let's say, you know, Emblem, we're successful at deploying on all these chains, right? We're successful at deploying on, you know, a Base and Merlin and Abstract and Bitcoin and Solana, et cetera. And then on the other side of this, the Emblem AI product, which is a wallet, a multi-chain wallet, has a Bitcoin wallet, Ethereum and Solana. which allows AI agents to integrate with it or use it through kind of an API backend. For that, Emblem is getting 1% of all transaction fees. And then on the Emblem side, it's $20 per vault that's being created. Keys would be the way that, I'm going to use an example here, depending on, what happens here with US regulatory environment. Yeah. If you could turn the fee generator on, right, and say, hey, if you're staking your keys and you participate in validating or verifying the open source or more decentralized kind of Emblem v3 network, you'll get a share of all the vaulting fees, and you'll get a share of all the fees that are being generated on Emblem AI through all of these agents, right? So it could be quite lucrative if we do execute on the vision itself, and that's where keys will kind of have some utility. We do have a premium services vision for that as well. And then a yield and a decentralization kind of vision. Of course, there's multiple steps that we have to execute on. The Tensorium token itself is the token of Agent Hustle. It's kind of his token that his identity that he's going to use in different types of ways, which Shannon has we've been scheming on these different type of things. We're considering doing a portion of those airdrops to Tensorium holders who participate in this kind of vision. We'll see if that happens, as well as we have 15% of the airdrop, or we have 38% of our keys allocation is dedicated to airdrops. 15% of that is I guess it'd be so 15% total supply is going to the Covault migration. And then you have about 23% of that, which we have kind of open to incentivize with Bitcoin communities, Tensorium holders, kind of wherever that goes. But I would look at both of those tokens different, whereas Keys is more of like the Emblem infrastructure and possible yield and decentralization, where the Tensorium token is more of the kind of speculative value of what the agent itself will use for that. And we do have ideas, but at the end of the day, it's still a very, very high risk kind of situation there.
Understandable. Gotcha. I forgot about the Solana coin. Yeah. Okay.
Solana people are crazy, man. Like we as my last point on it, we had been building Emblem AI for 2 months or so, kind of in the background. We deployed the token because what we've learned from Emblem is that if you're an infrastructure company, it's very tough to just release infrastructure and for people to participate. Generally, people need either some sort of co-marketing effort with another person, or they need some sort of token to ape into to kind of speculate on. So we launched Tensorium on the side anonymously to fuse them both together, because the best marketer of an infrastructure product is a token generally. And the degens in the trenches, when we put on pump.fun, figured out that Shannon had deployed it, even though we tried to do it anonymously, and they graduated the token within like an hour. So it was like one of, I think, 5 tokens of 40,000 deployed that day on pump.fun that, made it past the bonding curve.
Wow.
And so it's built its own community now. I highly recommend people to follow its Tensorium AI. There's like over 1,000 people in there. So now Emblem kind of has 2 different divisions. We have this like NFT interoperability division, and then we have this AI division. And as I mentioned, right, the pyramid of tech layer, token layer, intelligence layer, which is the AI. The goal is to kind of, form them all together in different layers. But, with the Tensorium token, could be really high risk. It's probably the highest risk, high reward of that like entire kind of vertical.
Yep.
Yeah. That is awesome. Well, Jake, it's been an amazing show with having you on. We thank you so much for educating not only us but the audience as well. And can't wait to do it again. We'll definitely set this up for once you get close to launching the vaults and everything as well. But we just wanted to say thank you and can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, appreciate the opportunity to always come on, boys. I always enjoy the conversation. Happy holidays, and probably next time we chat, it'll be 2025. So hopefully we start the year, pretty well.
With a bang.
Yeah, with a bang. And honestly, could not be more excited to move into 2025 is finally somebody that's not just planning shit, but actually getting to execute on it. So bullish on 2025 for all of us.
Yeah, man.
Yes,
Bullish
sir.
Emblem Vault. Definitely.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, see you guys.
Hey, Jake.
All right. Bye.
All right, man. Great show
What
today.
a
2
show.
hours and
Yeah.
18 minutes in. So it definitely changed my thought process on, you know, on AI
agent.
agents and stuff like that. So especially when I can just use it to bridge. I don't have to go to Stargate. I don't have to go to any of the bridges that I use now to bridge. Just actually having that. Yeah, that's something that I would use it for. I would definitely use it for bridging, because bridging is a pain in the ass. So
Yep. And we got a stranger in the chat. Solana Chris says,
oh,
I'm the galaxy. What was it called? Something monkey space
an
galaxy. I forgot what the
intergalactic monkey space odyssey.
Odyssey.
I
There
am
we go.
myself.
Loves us. Shout out to Chris, man. Miss you, bud. But yeah, we appreciate all 463 of you guys hanging out with us today. Oh, our guy Danny Boy was says
Can't miss Danny.
GMGA. Yeah. Sorry, late. No worries, brother. But we thank you guys for hanging out with us. I know you guys learned something today because we had Jake on, constantly teaching you guys. But that's our hope. Every show is for you guys to take something, at least 1, 2, 3 things away from the show that you learned that you didn't know before. So and if you do have some time, we ask that you check out our partners. We just went over Emblem Vault. Those guys are grinding and building great innovation, whether it's being able to bridge Bitcoin Layer 1 assets or create an AI wallet and agent. They are doing it. You can learn more about them at emblem.vision. And BetBTC is the predictions marketplace for the Bitcoin ecosystem. They utilize ICP and Bitcoin technology for you guys to be able to place bets on their marketplace. With the Xverse wallet and some Bitcoin, you can bridge it over with 6 blocks on the Bitcoin blockchain, and then you can start placing your bets that are Bitcoin related, sports related. They have it all. They will have a create your own markets feature very soon. Look out for that, because that's going to be the game changer. That's going to be the differentiator for those guys. You can learn more about them at betbtc.win. And then BitPerp is the leverage and perps DEX for the Bitcoin ecosystem. As Shizzy mentioned earlier, right now, if you place any testnet on Botonix transactions, your wallet address, as long as it's new in their system, will be entered for a raffle to win something. January 2nd is the date that they're targeting for that last testnet paper trading competition. You can learn more about these guys at bitperp.io. And then Fluid Tokens, the UTXO wizard devs is what I call them. They are building everything, relating to Cardano and Bitcoin, a bridge between the two. They're getting very close to launching their Fluid Tokens Rune, which will be a 1-to-1 to their Cardano token. But they have retail staking vaults. So if you're an Ordinal, creator of a collection, or you deployed a Rune and you want your holders to be able to stake, reach out to Raul from Fluid Tokens. You can learn more about them at fluidtokens.com and click on the Bitcoin side if you're interested in those type of assets, the Bitcoin assets. And then Merlin Chain, your #1 scaling solution for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocols. If you're a builder on Bitcoin Layer 1 and you want your protocol to be a bit more flexible, you can apply for a Merlin Chain Builders Grant. They definitely will seriously consider you. It's not hard. It's not easy, but not super hard. A couple of our partners got in with that, but they have great builder support. Also, if you are a user and want something more that you're used to, if you're from the EVM side, they do have merlinswap.org that you can swap wrap BTC or Merl to go to the moon on merlinswap.org. Also, our integrated partners are Foxy, which is building the metaverse, the Bitverse on Bitcoin. They also have their first-person shooter game, which is called Clan Wars, as well as their bit miners that you can actually mine real assets, not real world, but digital assets. And then Ordinal Hive, which is the aggregator Ordinal marketplace. So you're going to be able to find the cheapest Ordinals on Ordinal Hive, Bitcoin Layer 1 or Layer 2 Merlin. Thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yep. Great job there, man. You guys have a few more minutes. Check out ordinalrevolution.com. We have some of the best articles dating all the way back to last year. If you know someone just entering the space, send them our website. I feel like it can help them really get started and caught up to where we are today. Sorry, if you guys need a VPN, We have the NordVPN right here, 70% off coupon. Definitely check it out. If you do not have a VPN, even if it's not Nord, just get one. Just get a VPN. Do not be going through these web pages and stuff like that with your your address, because they can eventually find you, and that's not good. We're Bitcoiners. We don't want people to find our address, and so just don't be giving away your IP address as well. Use a VPN. Use Nord, 70% off right here. If you guys are going to Bitcoin 2025 Las Vegas, we will both be there. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be insane because everyone's gonna be feeling really rich, guys. This is gonna be the Bitcoin conference of all conferences. But get your tickets here at ordinalrevolution.com. Click the link. If you guys need some merch, it's hoodie weather, especially here in Philly. You guys want to get a hoodie, whatever you guys need. We have everything here, but I love the hoodies. Hoodies are great quality. Chancellor on the brink of second bailout. That's the one that I bought. Love it. And you got the Seiko hamster, the Bitmap, the Puka, the Gizmo, the Billy Cat, and so much more. I know we have a dog hoodie here as well. We got everything that you could possibly dream of. Check out everything at ordinalrevolution.com. And guys, we are live Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 4 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. And on that note, we'll see you tomorrow.
Peace.
We OG, oh no OG. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload, yeah. Experts on reload, yeah. You're not bullish enough, yeah. Oh no, you're not bullish enough. You ain't got the oh no. I get stoned by the bolo. Bitcoin set to overload. Experts on reload. Mempool getting hot. Everybody wanna rock, ayy. Runes is coming, everybody on a knot, ayy. It's a nuisance, Ordinal Revolution, ayy. Ordinal Revolution. Yo, it's my guy for real, bro. Got friends right now. Yo, BRC 420, bro. Yo, that shit found fire, bro. Imagine if he in here. Yeah, like it in the seal. Murder. I got balls of steel. Nookies on the field. Yeah, this shit for real. With no calls, I get so far. Got 100 phone calls that I go hard, and they gon' love me. Smoke weed, huddle back. I get shiesty. Where my Bitcoin looking lovely. All this Satoshi's nothing above me.